HCTV Sports is supported by Balanced Wealth Management, Retirement, Planning, Expertise. Farmers Insurance, the Katie Lindbergh Agency. Katie Lindbergh, Hastings Downtown Farmers Insurance. If you don't know insurance, you need to know her.
First goal of the year goes for the Raiders.
Oh, beautiful shot there. Nicely done. Gets the pin. Oh, was that beautiful?
Onside kick, and it's recovered by Hastings.
And he's rung up for strike 3.
Double alley. Touchdown Raiders.
Welcome to another wonderful day here in Minnesota in June. I'm Casey Lux, joined today by Carl Warner. We're at Alamagnet Park here at Burnsville for this big section matchup. As you can see, 3 quad A, I think they say, Carl. We got Hastings, the number 2 seed, and Eagan, the visitors today, the number 5 seed from that 3-4A section. Carl, how are we doing today? How are you feeling?
We are feeling ready. It's a beautiful, almost 80-degree night here in June. The bugs are bad in many areas of the state, but not here at the park. As we take a look at the section here today, this is the section tournament is double elimination. So you might think when you look at that bracket, this is the final. This is not the final.
Nope.
This is the regular bracket. This is the regular bracket semifinal. So the winner of this game will go to the section championship and face the section championship game, and then face the winner of the elimination bracket.
Correct.
So whoever loses today is not out.
Nope, they just have one loss.
But whoever wins today is completely in the driver's seat to earn a berth to the state tournament.
Correct. Yeah, and I think you probably saw in there, but the two teams how they made it to this point, right? As we mentioned, Hastings, the number 2 seed, they had a 5-4 win over the number 7 Park Cottage Grove. And then we're going to jump into the lineups here quickly. So we got for Eagan for the Wildcats, Tate Gage going to lead off in center field. Theo King will be playing third base, followed up by Will Mitchell, designated hitter today. Brandon Lundenborg will be catching. Ryan Eckerly will be your shortstop. Tony Hivery at first base. Matt Cunningham in right. Joe Anderson in left. Alex Tomei at second. And your pitcher today will be Danny Lockenmeyer, the senior for Eagan. So we're getting all settled in here. We'll jump into the Hastings defense.
We have the Hastings Raiders defense quickly here. We have Vandehoff in left, Kimmes in center, Chumsland in right field, Nelson at third, Hendrickson, shortstop, the St. Thomas commit, Denoyer at second, Lundstrom at first, Selesky on the mound, and Teglin behind the plate.
Perfect. So we're ready to go. Tate Gage, center fielder, is going to be stepping in. Take that first pitch from Selesky. As we mentioned, Hastings came here by way of a 5-4 win over number 7 Park Cottage Grove and an 8-2 win over the number 6 seed Rosemont. First pitch, Selesky swung on, popped up. This is going to stay in the infield, and that's going to be Hendrickson. He's going to call off his second baseman and make the play for a 1-pitch, 1-out at bat. Pitcher's best friend, right, Carl?
Yeah, 1 pitch, 1 out. That makes things a lot easier for Selesky on the mound.
And then Eagan, for those that I know you maybe saw the bracket, but just to fill you in real quick, Eagan was the number 5 seed. They won a coin toss with Rosemont. So Rosemont ended up being the 6th seed. Eagan traveled to their local rival in Eagan and played Eastview, won a 4-3 game against number 4 Eastview, and then won the next day a 3-1 win over number 1 Two Rivers. A fastball on the outside corner to the third baseman, the junior, Theo King.
Yeah, the junior is in the box against a Dakota Technical College commit.
Fouled straight back. So Selesky, 3 pitches, 3 fastballs, all strikes. So a great start for Selesky here today early on.
Dakota County Technical College, DCTC, as they call it.
King's been the third baseman all year for the Wildcats. Here's Selesky's pitch. Curveball, misses up high. Teglin was ready to snap that one around the infield, but that one was just a little up high when it came down on that curveball from Selesky. Kids are excited, Carl. Ready to go here early on.
Indeed, you can hear the dugouts.
Another curveball misses up. So Selesky, 3 straight fastballs, now 2 straight curveballs. And obviously you can probably hear in the background feed too, but their excellent camera work with the mics over there, that both dugouts are jacked up. That one's fouled off to the side.
Watch out in the other ballpark.
I don't think anybody's playing over there today, so that's a good thing, because other times you'll come here, there'll be 2 games going at the same time, you have simultaneous foul balls flying all over the place.
Absolutely. A great neutral site here at Alley Magnet Park.
2-2 count, 1 down here. Selesky to King. Ripped hot shot, 1 hopper off the chest of Hendrickson. Plenty of time across the diamond to Lundstrom for the second out of the inning. So 2 at-bats and 2 outs made by Hendrickson, the shortstop.
Great 6-3 play there from the St. Thomas commit, and a great recovery. Of course, he initially did not get it on the dig.
Yeah, well, you can see the replay here.
You see the replay here, and that one came really hot off of the bat.
It was kind of one, where I think Henderson at short was just kind of froze for a second because he thought he was going to catch it in the air, but did a nice job of squaring up, as the coaches would say.
Absolutely. He got in front of the ball.
Yep. Knocked down with his chest. So Will Mitchell steps in. He's a sophomore. He's a designated hitter today. Mitchell leading the team in numerous categories. Leading the team in average at 377. There's a fastball in the outside corner.
So
and high on base percentage as well at 443 on the season for Mitchell.
Now Selesky's moving awful fast out there.
Yeah. He wants to get the boys back in the dugout, I think. There's a fastball in there for a strike, 2-1.
So Eagan taking the designated hitter approach. Their pitcher will not hit. Hastings' pitcher will hit, and that is Jack Selesky on the mound.
And he'll hit for himself, so that way if he comes out of the game, he can still keep hitting.
Yes.
They call that the Ohtani, Carl.
The Ohtani rule, yes.
Right. 3-1 count after Selesky got those 2 very quick outs.
Unfortunately, Selesky is not being paid $50 million a year.
No, can't do that in high school, Carl.
Well, in today's age.
Fouled away off to the right. 3-1 count, 3-2. 2 down here in the top of the first, right at Alameda Park. Number 2, Hastings. It's the home team taking on number 5, Eagan Wildcats.
You see a great shot there of our packed house.
Yep.
Field number 1.
What you'll notice here today, too, is we'll watch this pitch here, 3-2. Curveball outside corner. Strike 3, Selesky. Quick work of the Eagan offense. Eagan, no runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. Selesky goes 1, 2, 3 in the top of the first.
First inning, Eagan scores no runs, no hits.
Cruising along,
no Hastings errors,
Selesky
and
was.
No one left on base.
We'll jump into the Hastings lineup as well as the Eagan defense. We're going to keep it here with you. Also, one thing we'll let you know, too, is I'll be doing the play-by-play duties the first, second inning, and then the 6th and 7th, and Carl will jump in and keep working on his play-by-play skills as well in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So since this is a Eagan TV, Burnsville TV, and Hastings Community Television broadcast, we're going to share the duties here today as well.
Awesome collaboration to bring everyone some accessible playoff baseball. That is the case. You can watch high school baseball in Minnesota, but you can't watch the Twins.
Correct. It's a weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot cheaper to watch high school baseball, too.
Yeah.
Right? And then we also want to make sure we thank, a big thank you goes out to HYAA, which is the Hastings Youth Athletic Association, for helping put together this broadcast today. Here's Carl. Carl will run down the Hastings lineup here for us.
Yeah, that's right. Like we said, the Ohtani rule coming in with Jack Selesky hitting 4th, but leading off for the Raiders is going to be Sawyer Chumsland, then Alex Hendrickson, the St. Thomas commit, Evan Nelson, one of their best players all season, as previously said, Selesky 4th, Johnny Tegland, Cade Kemez, Blake Vandehoff, Mark Denoyer, and Carter Lundstrom to round things out in the 9-hole.
As we mentioned, pitching for Eagan today will be the senior Danny Lockenmeyer. And then I'll give you some stats here. But for Eagan, it's a pretty similar looking lineup on the defense. If you've watched Eagan this year, you got Joe Anderson, the senior, out in left. Tate Gage, the speedster, in center. Matt Cunningham, a senior, out in right. You got the junior Theo King at the hot corner. Ryan Eckerly, the senior, who is a commit to River Falls, at short. Alex Tomei at second. Tony Hiveri at first. And then the sophomore Brandon Lundenborg behind the plate. And as I mentioned, the senior is on the mound. That is Danny Lockenmeyer. Lockenmeyer on the year, 36 2/3 innings pitched, 2-5 coming into today, 42 strikeouts, and around a 4 ERA. But a really good outing recently, Carl. He went 5 1/3, 5 hits, 3 earned, 4 Ks, 5 walks in their 4-3 win over Eastview. So Lockenmeyer pitched last Tuesday, so basically pitching on what, 6 days rest?
You bring up the seniors. It's curious here. Hastings has 14 seniors on their roster. Eagan has half that. It's
Correct.
7. Hastings has 3 juniors and 3 sophomores.
Correct.
Eagan has the only freshman in this game at just one of them.
Well, Carl was right. He did say near 80-degree day, Carl. That was good of you. You must have a weather button on your thigh or something like that, because it's 81 degrees and just a little bit of wind, 6 miles an hour, and it's kind of coming and going. So we're ready to go here as the right fielder Chumsland comes in, steps to the plate as a leadoff hitter. He's a senior, and Sawyer is his first name. Going to face the left-handed senior, Danny Lockenmeyer. First pitch by Lockenmeyer. Heater on the outside corner for a strike. And when Lockenmeyer is going well, it's first pitch strikes, which I know is a common thing for all pitchers, but when he stays away from the high counts and stays away from balls, right? Fastball misses up.
You know, it's maybe possible to see it on the broadcast for our viewers at home, but we have some really interesting shading going on.
Yep.
The pitcher's mound is in full sunlight, but home base is in full shadow.
Yep. They can still pick it up though. They can pick up his what he's delivering. A little bit of shadow in left field, a little bit of shadow for Theo King, and that might happen for a little bit. They'll get the lights on probably about the 4th or 5th inning. There's a quick heater for a strike on a slider. First out of the inning for Eagan. That'll bring up the shortstop, which is going to be Alex Hendrickson, another senior. And he's going to come and bat on the left side.
Alex Hendrickson made a couple of plays in the top of the first for the Raiders. Their University of St. Thomas, St. Paul Division I commit at the plate for the Raiders.
Which is near and dear to your heart, right, Carl?
It is. I am 1 semester away from graduating from there.
There's a fastball that goes up and nobody catches.
I think Lockenmeyer is tired of me talking about myself. He wanted to put one by me there.
I think they say that's the announce your presence with authority pitch, right?
Yeah.
Just throw it as hard as you can, as high as you can right away. Effectively wild. There's a heater for a strike. Quickly 1-1 count. Interesting thing too, what you notice here, Carl, is look at Gage was shading heavily into the right center gap. Coach Butler sent him back a little closer to center. Nice check swing there to make it 2-2 to Hendrickson. Looks like on the right side, they're pretty much playing him straight up. Eckerly's kind of hugging second base a little bit at short. King's playing in for a potential drag bunt. There's a strike in there.
Yeah, he's almost touching the grass there at third base,
right,
but not escaping that shade.
Lockenmeyer goes fastball, slider, changeup. Is kind of his repertoire on the mound. 2-2 count, 1 down, ball in the dirt. Now full.
And
to the shortstop, Hendrickson.
Hendrickson will drag that one back for Lunenborg with his bat. A lot of noise from both dugouts to start this game.
Yeah, people are jacked up, which they should be, right? It's playoff time. No need to leave anything in the dugout, right? Put it all in the field. 3-2 pitch. Ripped to right. This one's hit a ways. Cunningham goes back, and this one's off the wall. Hendrickson's going to jog in for a gentleman's double as he takes that fastball almost out of the park, about 3 feet short of a home run to right. 3-2 pitch, ripped on. Cunningham got back there quick, but didn't have time to try to rob it or to try to find that fence.
Just made full contact with that, and he put so much power in that deep drive to right. That was feet, and I mean like a couple feet away from leaving the ballpark.
Yeah, I think it was about 3 feet from the top, maybe even 2 feet, so it was right there. Maybe a little bit of wind would have helped him there. So bring up the third baseman. That's going to be Evan Nelson, another senior. Hendrickson at second, so the Raiders are looking to strike first here as that slider gets in there for a strike by Lockenmeyer. 1 down. Lockenmeyer on the mound. Pitching from the stretch here. Hendrickson at second. Heater in there for a strike, quickly 0-2 to Nelson.
Tomey at second base. We have a replay here
Carl.
of this line drive into right field.
I think he thought he had it at first off the bat.
I think he did, because we can't really...
Taking off. Hendrickson's taking off. Ball's at the center. Hendrickson's going to get back in time easily. Gage is going to get underneath it for the out, the second out. hits the cutoff, keeps Hendrickson at second. So Hastings showing a little bit of motion on the bases, sending Hendrickson there on that 0-2 pitch.
Yeah, Nelson flied that one out to 8 out there in center field. And
to
Hendrickson took off for third, but ended up having some great base running knowledge to understand that Gage was going to get back underneath that one. So we had to run back to second.
So the pitcher steps in. It's Jack Selesky, the senior. So a little pitcher v. pitcher matchup here with 2 down. Hendrickson at second with that 1-out double. There's a changeup in there for a strike.
Yeah, and he bit on that one.
Lackamere using all 3 pitches here early on. Got good life on his fastball early on, as does Selesky. Easy to get jacked up for a game like today, right, Carl?
Yeah, you have all the ingredients here for a classic.
Right.
You got the revenge aspect of things
Correct.
for Hastings. You got an underdog story for Eagan.
Absolutely. Change up again, misses up. 1-1, 2 down here.
You got a great
for Lackamere to Selesky.
Great crowd, some college commitments, and a berth to the state tournament. Only 2 wins away for one of these teams.
Correct. Little fake pickoff attempt just to keep Hendrickson honest at second.
Yeah, Tomey didn't even get near second base, but he made sure
I don't think anything was planned there. I think he just wanted to step off.
Make Hendrickson do some swimming out there in the dirt.
1-1 pitch from Lackenmeyer to his opponent, Selesky. Fastball outside corner. 1-2 quickly, 2 down. Alamagnet Park, lovely Burnsville for this 3, I don't even know how the proper way to say it. Do you say 3-4A or do you say 3-A-A-A-A-A?
I like to say quadruple A.
There you go, quadruple A. Perfect. Henderson takes off. Grounder up the middle. Eckerly makes the play across the diamond. Very in time. So for Hastings in the bottom of the first, they do get no runs on 1 hit. No errors and 1 left on. We'll keep it here with you. We're going to have Carl tune us into a little bit of that revenge factor that you were mentioning and remind some of the folks that are listening at home where these 2 teams have played against each other the last few years.
Yes, so Eagan, a member of the South Suburban Conference, Hastings, a member of the Metro East. Hastings actually finishing first in the Metro East this year, but nonetheless, these 2 teams have only played each other twice since the pandemic.
Okay.
And they both came in the playoffs, 2022 and 2023.
Okay.
Now,
keep going.
Hastings lost both times.
Okay.
Hastings is having a great season, and they're trying to finally put this demon that seems to not want to leave them alone in the playoffs to bed.
Sure. Perfect. Get a little shot at the crowd here. We might even get a little replay of that final out of the bottom of the first. Carl can walk us through it here. Hendrickson was taking off.
Yeah, this one dribbled right up to the middle, and we didn't know if he was going to make it past second base into the outfield, but unfortunately for the Raiders, Eckerly got there just in time.
Yeah, I mean, Eckerly did a good job of charging it. What you notice is that he wanted to throw it right away, but didn't get a good grip on the ball.
Yeah, he had to
so
do a little toe hop.
He didn't try to force it, and then he actually, found his grip, had plenty of time to make that out.
Exactly,
make a
because
short throw.
if he would have thrown that on the first bounce, the first time he got it, there's a good chance that would have been wild, and Hendrickson would have scored.
I will say that whoever's up on the scoreboard is pretty generous right now because they have Eagan with 3 hits and we have Selesky giving up 0 so far. So we'll make sure that we stay on top of that.
Indeed,
one.
very, very generous.
But Hendrickson, as we mentioned, was about 2 to 3 feet away from a first inning solo bomb here in the top of the first. But a nice job by Cunningham to corral it to keep him at second. And then it was Nelson that got a good swing on, good swing from the number 3 spot, but, got underneath it. Probably hit it about, 360-ish to center field. And Gage had plenty of time to get back and corral it. So for Eagan, now we're going to have Brandon Lundenborg, the catcher. He's a sophomore. Another guy that leads the team in a lot of different statistics, hitting 365 on the year. 481 on base. Leads the team with 6 doubles. Leads the team with 2 home runs. He is leading the team in 13 RBIs. And he was 1 for 2 with an RBI in their playoff win against Eastview.
Another thing about this playoff rivalry between Hastings and Eagan is that these games have been decided by 1 run. Right. They have not been blowouts. They've been heartbreakers.
Yep. Selesky's heater on the knees on the outside corner for a strike.
In 2022 in the quarterfinals, Hastings lost 4-5.
Okay.
And last year in the quarterfinals, Hastings lost 1-2.
Ripped by Lunenborg. This one's a hot shot. It's going to get past Chumsland. It's going to get Lunenborg to second for his 7th double on the season. Jumping on that second pitch of the at-bat for a double to right field. We're going to bring in the speedster, the all-time courtesy runner. And that's going to be Jackson Dwyer. Jackson Dwyer on the season. We'll get the replay here. Carl, what'd you see there?
I see just as you said, he ripped that one, a liner, and Chumsland really had no chance to get that one, but luckily Chumsland has some great speed and was able to throw that one in.
Jackson Dwyer, as I said, kind of the team courtesy runner, has 8 runs on the year, and he's also 9 for 10 on stolen bases. Stole 2 bases in their Eastview playoff win.
You know, Chumsland out there in right field for the Raiders, he actually leads the team in stolen bases. So that speed definitely helped him maybe prevent a triple.
Correct. Eckerly, the senior shortstop, commit to River Falls, bluffs a bunt for ball 1. Dwyer at second. Eagan looking to put that first run on the board here in the top of the second. I'm Casey Lux. I'm joined by Carl Warner. We got a wonderful dual broadcast today with Eagan TV and Hastings Community Television helping out. It's just so very happy as we see a pickoff attempt and Dwyer gets back. Nice little timing play between Selesky and Hendrickson. Let's get our thank yous in right away, right? We got Hunter as our director, our producer, production director. We got Tim on replay and graphics, and the wonderful camera crew, Ashley, Ian, and Ben. So a big thank you goes out to all 5 of you for helping make this broadcast possible today. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Eckerly. Rip shot into the gap. Eckerly's going to pick up an RBI. Dwyer's going to come in to score. Eckerly's going to slide into second on the bad relay for a quick run for Eagan. I think a little confusion on that, Carl. I think they were trying to figure out, do they want to just throw it into second to keep him at first, or do they want to try to relay it to maybe have a chance to go home? Missed Hendrickson's glove, and that's what allowed Eckerly to cruise into second.
Yeah, this one was smashed
right here
into the gap and left no chance for Vanderhoff or Kimez. And then, like you mentioned, once they did come up with the ball, there was a question of, do we try for the plate or who's the cutoff man? And they were unable to get it to the right spot, allowing the runner to reach second.
Yep. Smart base running by Eckerly to get into second. And we have a balk by Selesky. It happened pretty quick, folks. I believe he did come set. And as you mentioned early in the first, he was working quite quickly. I think that time from the stretch, he just didn't come fully to a set. That allows Eckerly to cruise over to third. So now you have Eckerly at third with nobody out. The junior first baseman, the big guy, Tony Hiveri, 1 home run on the year, and that was hit at this park.
You know, we just talked about it. All of these playoff rivalry games have been 1 run.
Popped up down the line. We're going to see if Eckerly tries to tag. Nice play by Chumsland. Eckerly's going to hold. That thing didn't get past first base very much. So Selesky does his job to keep Eckerly at third.
What I was getting at is all of these playoff games between Eagan and Hastings over the last couple of years, they've been 1 run.
Right.
And if it stays that way today, then all of the little things are going to add up for whoever loses, such as a balk from Selesky.
Right. You know, and I wouldn't say it's nerves, right? I think what sometimes happens is, I mean, like a guy like Selesky, right? He's a senior. He maybe hasn't balked in 2-3 years. It just might be just the excitement of the game, right? And just all of a sudden you just kind of go, oh shoot, I didn't come to a full set. I just kind of rushed it just a little bit. So we got Matt Cunningham, the senior right fielder, is going to step in. A little safety squeeze. And the runner wasn't taking off, and that's just going to be a sacrifice bunt that doesn't happen.
That was a great play by Carter Lundstrom, remembering where he was, prioritizing, making sure that run doesn't get in.
I don't know if there was some confusion there because Eckerly never took off. He did the right thing. He bunted it down the first base line. I mean, a perfect bunt would be down third.
Yeah, maybe.
If Eckerly takes off, he's going to score.
You
but
wonder if
now he could be stranded at third here with 2 outs, and the senior left fielder, Joe Anderson, steps in.
You wonder if Eckerly missed the signal or if the bunt just went the wrong way.
Right. Curveball misses up. So Joe Anderson, the senior, steps in. 333 on base, 2 doubles on the year, 14 runs scored. That's second on the team. And he's a perfect 11 for 11 for stolen bases on the year as Anderson. 1-0, here's Selesky's pitch. Curveball still misses up. So far here early on, looks like umpires not wanting to call that high curveball to both sides early on. Maybe wants to see him kind of settle it in or be more consistent as the game marches on. 2-0 pitch with 2 down. Fastball misses out. So quickly 3-0 to the senior left fielder, Anderson.
Little Soto shuffle action in there from Joe Anderson. You saw him with his feet.
It's got a little bit of the Jack Parkman for all those Major League 2 fans. A little shimmy. Ooh, and actually the umpire saved that run there as that one hit his shin guard and didn't get back to the backstop.
Yeah, that's why they wear the shin guards.
So Teglin was saved by the umpire, so Hastings wins. You have to buy him a Coca-Cola after the game. So that's going to bring up the second baseman, the number 9 hitter. That's going to be Alex Tomei, senior. 300 on base, 4 runs scored, a couple RBIs. Been kind of holding down the second base slot for the last half of the season. So watch for Anderson here maybe to take off first or second pitch and see what happens if they can maybe get in a rundown. Fastball in there for a strike. Top of the zone by Selesky. 2 down here. Eagan leading 1-0. Leadoff double by Lunenborg and then a single by Eckerly, and he took second on the errant throw. Went over to third on a balk, but has been stranded here so far. Selesky's throw over to Lundstrom as Anderson gets back in time.
Eagan started and finished the season by losing 5 games in a row. Hastings, of course, on a 13-game winning streak.
Yeah, have him coming into tonight 18-4 overall, including the playoff wins. Fastball in there for a strike. Throw down to second. Now we're going to have a relay home. A big hop. Not going to be fielded. Eckerly's going to score. Anderson's going to slide into third. So they put on the old first and third play. I don't know if there was confusion in a sense. It looked like Teglin wanted to get that out at second through the 1 hop, allowing Anderson to slide into second. And once that ball hit the dirt, Eckerly took off. It had to have the relay and then another 1 hop into home, and Teglin was unable to corral it.
I'm not sure if we caught it, but at second base right now, Mark DeNoyer is just beside himself. He was very, very disappointed in how that turned out.
Sure. Yeah, it looked like Teglin kind of pumped and then threw. You know, I don't know if they had something planned or not. Tomei, slow roller to third. Nelson's throw across the diamond. Not in time as it gets on the right field line. Going to bring in Anderson for the 3rd run of the inning. First error of the ball game. Very well could have been more than likely would be a base hit with a throwing error to get him to second. I don't know if Nelson was going to be able to get him on that slow roller with the grass.
And what was a mound is now a mountain for Hastings. They could have gotten out of this inning a couple of times, and Eagan has now piled on.
I mean, they had Eckerly stranded at second with 2 outs. You know, and after Eagan looked like they wanted to do a suicide squeeze or a safety squeeze that just didn't actually bring in Eckerly. So 2 down here. Eagan attacking early on with 3 runs. Here's that replay, Carl, if you want to run us through it.
Yeah, batter almost stumbles out of the
box,
the box there. But nonetheless, Eagan comes up with the run on the bad throw to first.
So the junior, the speedster, the running back on the football team, Tate Gage, steps in, leads the team in at-bats, plate appearances. First pitch by Selesky, ripped on to right center. He's gliding towards it, and that was Kimmis with a nice job on 1 pitch to bring in that out and get Hastings out of there. So for Eagan in the top of the second, they get 3 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 left on. We'll be back in 60 seconds for the bottom of the second as Eagan leads 3-0 here at Alamagnet Park.
The bottom half of the second inning, Eagan scores 3 runs on 3 hits. 2 Hastings.
To make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
you're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular.
Watch
washy, wash, washy, wash, wash your hands. Scrub them while you sing this song. Wash, washy, wash, washy, wash, wash. Rub your hands and fingers and the places in between. Using soap and water makes your hands so clean. Wash your hands. Great job, you're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now dry.
Wash your hands for 20 seconds, just like Elmo.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut, the one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
We are back here. Casey Lux joined by Carl Warner. I'm excited to work with the St. Thomas kid here. We're having some fun as we see Hastings step to the plate, and this will be the catcher. And I'm going to get the first name here real quick for you. Where are we at here? Catcher John Teglin, another senior. I mean, you can pretty much just say it's a senior, right, Carl? As you mentioned, they have 12 seniors on the team.
Hastings, 14 seniors.
14
seniors, 3 juniors, and 3 sophomores.
And Eagan graduated 10 last year, so they have a lot of new players and new positions
Oh,
this
I
year.
hear you, yeah.
So Lockemeyer quickly works to, I believe, 1-1 as our scoreboard looks to be a little bit behind us here.
We have Teglin here at the plate. I graduated with his brother Ben.
I think Papa Teglin came and said hi to you.
He is most certainly here.
Right.
Big Pete is here.
So we saw the heater there by, there we go. Lockemeyer gets a heater in there to make it 1-2.
Right. And speaking of Ben Teglin, he is on the Hastings Hawks. You'll see him on Hastings Community TV a couple times this summer.
Sweet. Fastball misses up. So as we mentioned earlier, Carl, as I kind of mentioned, and this is me as a pitcher, I always want a huge zone, right? So it just looks like right now, for both sides, it looks like that high strike, whether it's a curveball or a fastball, is just not going to be called, at least early on. There's a slider in there for a strike, now quickly 2-2. So the scoreboard somehow did either get behind or correct. I thought for a second that was strike 3, Carl, but I guess we're 2-2, even though the scoreboard says 3-2. Lockemeyer's pitch fall back by the catcher Teglin.
We're out here in Burnsville. Obviously, Eagan is just a little bit closer than Hastings is. It seems like we have a fairly even crowd today. Of course, the Eagan faithful have been very loud. They've had a lot to cheer for.
Right.
The Hastings fans are waiting for a reason to cheer.
Right, waiting for a reason to explode, right?
Yeah.
Another foul ball down the first base line by Teglin. So a good at-bat by Teglin, seeing all the pitches from Lockemeyer. Lockemeyer pretty much has gone fastball slider here early on, but a few change-ups mixed in that first inning.
Yeah, Teglin's staying alive here. One of their better players all season in the box.
And there was a change-up down the line and fair. Nice play by King and the tag by Highbury. Great play by King to get that thing before going foul. A strong throw, and Highbury jumped off the bag to make the tag. So big first out to get out the number 5 hitter, Teglin. Here's the replay, Carl.
Yeah, that was a sensational 5-3 play from King and Highbury.
Oh, it looks like he got him on the wrist,
yeah,
actually.
Coming down the line after Teglin was out, Teglin was actually limping on his way back to the dugout.
Okay. So now we got the center fielder as we watch Lockemeyer, a little lefty-lefty matchup. And Cade Kimmis, who showed his speed that last inning as he ran down that ball in right center gap to take away a potential double by Tate Gage. Swung on and missed, now 1-1 count. Just to remind everybody, too, Carl will be taking over the play-by-play duties here in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So you won't get to hear me as much, but that's okay, right, Carl?
Yeah. Got a couple of great jersey combinations today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love these H-Town down jerseys from Hastings in the bright yellow and the really easy to read numbers, and Eagan with their feisty blue and green.
Yep. So 1-2 pitch by Lockemeyer, lefty-lefty matchup. Fastball once again misses up in the zone, so 2-2. To the senior Kimmis. Eagan, for the most part, a right-handed hitting team, other than Eckerly. There's a slider that misses just out. 3-2 to Kimmis. Lockemeyer wanted that one. He has to take a step off and kind of corral the emotions a little bit.
Kim is wearing the famous in Minnesota number 7. Of course, the most famous Minnesotan number 7 will be joining the MLB Hall of Fame later this summer.
End of July.
End of July?
Yeah.
Forgot if it was in August or
Yeah, it's the end of July, yeah.
Okay. Out there in one of the most difficult places in America to reach, a random town in
Cooperstown, New York, yeah.
Not a random town.
It's not a random town, but it's a hard town to get hotels in, is what I've been told.
Yes.
I mean, you have to potentially get a hotel like an hour away. 3-2 pitch, slider, strike 3 for Lockenmeyer. The second out of the inning. That'll send up our left fielder, which will be Blake Vandehoff, another senior for Hastings. There's a slider that just kind of went and kept chasing away from the left-handed bat of Kimmis there by Lockenmeyer. So 2 down here, 3-0 is our score. Eagan up, change up across the top for a strike.
We got number 14 in the batter's box and 14 behind the plate.
Yeah.
It's Lunenborg with Vandehoff.
0-1 pitch, spiked. And I think it caught him, it did. So first hit by pitch of the game. It's gonna send Vandehoff down to first. He looks fine. That thing caught dirt first anyway, so he didn't catch it directly. And we're gonna send up the second baseman. That will be Mark Denoyer.
I think Eagan was wondering if he swung at the pitch before he got hit.
Yeah, I don't think he did though. I think he pulled back.
Almost chopped at it.
Yeah, he never, I mean, by the time it hit him, then I think his, his wrist kind of came through. So
an awkward look, but nonetheless, Vandehoff will reach first.
But that is a rarity. You don't catch very often guys getting hit by a pitch on a bounce, right? You know what I mean, off the dirt. Strike in there for Lockenmeyer.
The Shadows still not over the mound, but have now taken over almost the entirety of the infield, other than first base.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they turn the lights on earlier than normal here today too. Due to some of these shadows, right? Instead of maybe throwing the lights on in the 5th or 6th, I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden the lights come on 3rd or 4th inning. 1-1 count. Vandehoff on first, reached on that hit by pitch. Lockenmeyer's pitch misses in to Denoyer, the number 8 hitter for the Raiders here today. First baseman Carter Lundstrom on deck.
The time right now is 7:40 for our live viewers. Sunset is expected just over an hour from now.
Okay. 2-1 pitch, 2 down here. Changeup misses up, so quickly now 3-1 to Denoyer, and that's going to send for the mound visit the sophomore to go talk to his senior in Lunenborg. 3-0 is our score. Eagan scored 3 runs on 2 hits. There was 2 errors. They left 1 on, but really, as you mentioned before, they had Eckerly stranded at third with 2 outs. And then Eagan was able to kind of chip away and manufacture another 2 runs there in the top of the second.
Yeah, those are the runs that you always hate as the team playing defense, are the runs that come with 2 outs.
Yeah.
Especially when no one's on base.
Well, and if it's not earned on a double or a home run.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just the little
3-1 pitch,
things.
misses low. So Hastings now first and second with 2 down. Denoyer heads down to first, and Vandehoff cruises down to second. I'll bring up the first baseman, Carter Lundstrom, the number 9 hitter, looking to flip the lineup over to Chumsland, the right fielder, at the leadoff hit.
Yeah, Lundstrom hitting in the 9-hole tonight.
Has that been kind of common, or has he been kind of moving all around the lineup most of the year for Hastings that you've seen, Carl?
It's mostly been Hastings keeping a similar lineup, but
sure.
always making comfortable changes.
Yeah. Lockenmeyer misses with a fastball, so 1-0. So Lockenmeyer was cruising with his control kind of through the first 6 batters or so, and now he hit Vandehoff on that bounce ball and walked to Denoyer. Alamagna Park, Casey Lux, Carl Warner, brought to you by Eagan TV and Hastings Community Television. Fastball on the knees in there for a strike, now evened up at 1-1. Excellent crew working today. Hunter, Tim, camera crew, Ashley, and Ian and Ben.
Great crowd, great game.
Crowd, beautiful weather, just a little bit of a breeze so that we weren't sweating too much. There's another fastball that gets past Lundstrom.
And lots of high stakes. Remember, the winner of today's game only has to win 1 more game to advance to the state tournament.
Correct.
And they'll still have 1 more loss in their back pocket before elimination.
Right. 1-2 count, 2 down. Here's Lockenmeyer's pitch. Change up. Just misses the outside corner. 2-2 evened up.
That was not a popular decision from the audience here. Now, we are sitting a little bit closer to the Eagan dugout, so maybe that's what we heard.
Probably hear more groans than we'll hear cheers. At least
in that scenario.
Right, when Eagan's in the field probably, right? So.
Right.
2s across the board. Lockenmeyer to Lundstrom. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses low. Big secondary there by Vanderhoff. Had to scoot back to second.
Yeah, very aggressive running out there by the outfielder Vanderhoff.
All right, 3-2 count, 2 down. Infield more than likely will be going to 1. Unless it's hit right at King, he can step on the base. Runners are off on the pitch.
Yeah, runners will go. Lockenmeyer is trying to finish what he started.
Little fake attempt. Make sure that nobody's taking off too early. Lundstrom, the number 9 hitter.
Chumsland is chomping at the bit to get in that batter's box.
Here's the 3-2 pitch from Lockenmeyer. Misses low, so a hit by pitch to Vanderhoff, a walk to Denoyer, and a walk to Lundstrom. Bases loaded now for Hastings, 2 down. It'll bring up the leadoff hitter, which is Sawyer Chumsland, the right fielder, and that's also going to bring pitching coach Luke Degramont out to the mound to talk with the senior lefty.
Yeah, Lockenmeyer taking off his hat there and trying to get his breath underneath him as the infielders come in for this mound visit.
And we'll go over both the coaching staff since we got a second here. So the head coach for the Eagan Wildcats is Steve Butler. Pitching coach, as I just mentioned, is Luke Degramont. Assistant coaches are Zach Walls and Paul Weinberg. Your team managers are Landon Berry and also Connor Strop. Connor Strop is the senior pitcher that blew out his knee, unfortunately, in football for Eagan, but is set to play and pitch next year at Concordia St. Paul. For Hastings, you got Ryan Stoffel, we just saw right there, as the head coach, and then assisted by Garrett Redka, Nick Sherry, Matt Nicklay, and Mike Schlotman.
You know, Casey, during this mound visit, I've had a chance to look over my shoulder and look behind me, and it really is standing room only today at Alley Magnet Field. This is no joke. This is some serious.
It's a huge game.
Minnesota State High School League playoff baseball.
Yeah, beautiful day, huge game. I mean, some might say that this very well is the championship game of the section, right? If you want to look at it that way, it very well could be, right? Fastball misses out, 1-0.
You could argue that because the stakes of today's game are so consequential. The mountain for whoever loses today will be much bigger than the hill that the winner has to climb to get to the state tournament.
1-0. Here's Lockenmeyer's pitch to Chumlin. Misses up.
Chumsland,
quickly 2-0.
Chumsland is not going to bite at just anything. He knows that this might be the Raiders' best opportunity early in this game.
I also think that Coach Stoffel probably told him to take a strike potentially too after he just walked 2 batters in a row. So here's the 2-0 pitch, 2 down by Lockenmeyer. Nice job by Lunenborg to block that slider.
And now it's 3-0. If you're, and keep in mind, I'm the broadcaster representing Hastings Community TV here. If you're Chumsland, you have to think to yourself, do you just stand here and look at 3 pitches, no matter what they are?
No, you better look at 3, but you might look at 2. I mean, you're still going to track them in, but yeah, absolutely. And he misses low. Walks in the first run of the game for Hastings. So Hastings is on the board.
Well, he sure as heck looked at that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's not going to swing on 3-0. We know that.
Right. Now, certain players may have the green light in that situation, and this is one of them.
Correct.
Alex Hendrickson.
Hendrickson with a second pitch hitting double that was about 2 feet away from a home run.
Yeah.
First was stranded at second, though.
Same pitcher on the
bottom
mound.
of the first.
Same pitcher, same hitter. Is he going to hit this one 2 feet harder?
Slider up top in there for a strike to the dismay of Hendrickson. So on the bases now we have Denoyer at third, Lundstrom at second, Chumsland at first. 2 down, 3-1 is our score here in the bottom of the second. Eagan trying to get out of here, only giving up that 1 run. Lockenmeyer's pitch fouled back. So quickly 0-2.
Hendrickson hit in the first inning a ball that went almost 330 feet-ish.
Yeah, I'd say all of that for sure. I didn't see who was running out there, but looks like we have our first action in the Eagan bullpen. At least getting somebody up and ready. So 0-2, 2 down to Hendrickson. St. Thomas commit, fouls it down the line. Is it going to stay in play? No. About 2 feet left of that third baseline.
Yeah.
Anderson was making a good run on it, but he's shading towards center field, so he had a long run to try to cover and grab that.
If that shift is a little bit more to the left, that could have been the end of the inning.
Right.
Now, remember, throughout all of this, Hastings had 2 outs with nobody on.
Correct. I know, hit by pitch and 3 walks in a row.
All of this offense has come with
no hits.
Exactly, 1 pitch away from the
no
the
balls
ending.
put in play even. No ground balls, no pop-ups, no nothing.
Lockenmeyer just trying to stop the bleeding at this point.
Correct. 0-2, 2 down, pitch to Hendrickson. Popped up. This is going to stay in the infield. Looks like Eckerly is going to call it off, and he does. And Lockenmeyer survives that inning by only giving up 1. So Hastings does get 1 run on no hits, no errors, and 3 left on. We'll be back in 60 seconds for the top of the third. 3-1's our score here at Eagan and Hastings TV.
Wash your hands. Scrub them while you sing this song. Wash. Rub your hands and fingers and the places in between. Using soap and water makes your hands so clean. Wash your hands. Great job, you're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now dry.
Wash your hands for 20 seconds, just like Elmo.
All right, we're back here. It's going to be the top of the third, and now I get to pass on the play-by-play duties over to Carl because we're sitting here at the top of the third. So it's going to be 2-3-4 for Eagan facing the senior Selesky. I'm going to pass it over to Carl Warner, and now I get to do a little color duty here for a little while.
Yeah, like my partner said, we are going to have King, Mitchell, and Lunenborg, no matter what, in the top of the third here for the Wildcats. Wildcats hold a 3-1 lead after Hastings scored 1 in the last half inning.
Right.
And here comes Theo King to face Selesky.
As I mentioned, King, 342 on base, 1 home run, 10 runs scored, 10 for 11 on stolen bases on the season, Carl.
The junior will face off against the senior for strike 1.
Yeah, and Selesky gets a nice little call there on that high strike that both pitchers have been wanting the first 2 innings.
Yeah, they finally got it here. Here comes Selesky. Driven into left field and caught. Vandehoff makes the catch for the Raiders, 1 out.
Yeah, it looks like that might caught maybe at the end of the bat, right? I mean, it came off the bat nice, but didn't make that solid pop, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't on the line like that it was going to get past Vandehoff.
That
he
one
was able
was
to take about 5 steps and make a nice, easy catch.
Definitely some softer contact. Not necessarily an easy catch, but an easier one than all the line drives that we've seen so far in the game. Now facing Will Mitchell, the designated hitter. Strike 1 called.
So one thing that's really interesting, Carl, for Mitchell is last year as a freshman, he was primarily a PO, which is, as the kids would say, a pitcher only, right, as we watched that one fall off. And this year has all of a sudden quickly became one of their most consistent hitters throughout the season.
Interesting, considering that he's the designated hitter now.
Right.
0-2 for Will Mitchell.
And he's their number 2 starter, though, when it comes to pitching as well.
Right.
Mitchell.
Watch out. The Hastings bus almost ate that one off of the first baseline. 0-2 still.
As I mentioned, Mitchell, third on the team in RBIs with 11 and 9 runs scored.
We just had a quick view of the bus there as we're going to have ball 1.
Mitchell leading the team, 377 average, 443 on base. So guy constantly gets on base.
Mitchell drives that one up to Hendrickson. Hendrickson zips it over to first, and the second out of the inning.
Nice routine play there for Hendrickson, staying down on it, getting up and flashing that strong arm that he's going to take with him to St. Thomas, as you mentioned earlier.
The cleanup hitter, the catcher, number 14, Brandon Lundenborg.
Lundstrom playing first base. Actually, speaking of pitcher-hitter statistics, Lundstrom actually leads Hastings in wins and strikeouts.
Okay, on the mound, you say?
No, playing first base today. Right. The first baseman for the Raiders, Selesky.
I know, but you said wins and strikeouts. I'm talking strikeouts on the mound, not strikeouts at the plate.
Yes,
right?
he's an infielder slash pitcher. Right.
I didn't think that you were going to throw him under the bus with the leading the team in strikeouts at the plate.
Yes, well, I do have the stat for the hitter from Hastings who has that as well. That responsibility actually belongs to Mark DeNoyer, who is leading them in strikeouts hitting-wise. 1-1.
Ooh, low strike. So Lundenberg, if you remember, had that big double in the second inning to kind of start the rally for the Wildcats to right center.
Really kick-started. That 3-1 demolished. This one into right field. Going back is Chumsland. Over his head. That one's going to reach the back wall. Chumsland fumbling it out in right field. He's going to throw that one in. Lundenborg reaches second and throws a celly down to the dugout.
Not a bad day. 2 for 2, 2 doubles. Came in today with 6 doubles. Already jumped up to 8. Bring in the speedster, courtesy runner Jackson Dwyer. Here's the replay.
Yeah,
as we mentioned too, it looks like Chumsland thought he had a good beat on it. I think that ball just kind of kept carrying, maybe a little top spin on it, and that got past Chumsland's reach over his head.
Yeah, we've been talking about the shade all day, and you noticed on that last shot, Chumsland is one of the only players in the field right now that's actually standing in sunlight.
Right.
Yeah, you see there out in right field, he's one of the only players who's actually dealing with the sun. Selesky. Strike one. Ryan Eckerly, the shortstop.
Yep, heading to University of River Falls.
We're there, just about a 45-minute drive.
Quick jaunt.
East here on 94. Really easy drive. And he drives this one into center field, looking back, and the catch. Kimmez makes the play, finds that one in the sun, and that will be the end of the top of the first. Raiders are still down 3-1 here. We'll be back with the bottom of the third.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
We welcome you back to Alley Magnet Park here in Burnsville, Minnesota, where this playoff matchup between the Hastings Raiders and the Eagan Wildcats. A 5 seed versus 2 seed Hastings. 3-1 Eagan here in the bottom of the third. That'll be strike one to Evan Nelson. Evan Nelson faces off against Lockenmeyer in his third inning of work. Hastings finally put a run on the board in the last inning with a lot of 2-out inconveniences for the Wildcats.
It was like station to station, right? It started off with a hit by pitch that bounced in the dirt to Vandehoff, and then you had a walk to DeNoyer, a walk to Lundstrom, a walk to Chumsland. And that's what brought a run across the board for Hastings in the bottom of the second.
0-1 for Nelson, their best player all season. That's going to be outside. Nelson was named a Metro East All-Star, as well as Alex Hendrickson of the Raiders.
Meesville Mudhen signee, I heard, too, from the truck.
Indeed. 2-1 for the future Meesville Mudhen. Outside, 3-1. Worked himself into a good count here. He's been the Raiders' best player all season. You look, he's leading the Raiders in runs. The better question to ask is, what is he not leading the Raiders in?
There you go.
Runs, hits, doubles, home runs, total bases, walks, RBI, and slugging.
Yeah.
And he slugs that one up to third base, and the play is going to be made at first. King to Highbury.
Yep.
Retires Nelson.
I was going to say, it's similar to both number 4 hitters for both teams are guys that are leading their team in pretty much all offensive categories, right? Lundenburg does the same thing on the other side for Eagan. So
yeah, you'll see that, they call it the slot, or that primetime spot in that third.
Cleanup spot.
Yeah,
right?
the cleanup spot.
Yeah, there you go.
Third or fourth part of the batting order.
Yep.
Not what all managers go towards, but oftentimes what they do. This one's going to be fouled straight back. I don't even know where that one is. That one landed with a big thud behind us here.
The other field, I think.
Yeah, on the other field, bleachers area.
So we got the pitcher-pitcher matchup here. Selesky now.
Yes, 0-1 for Jack Selesky. Down in the dirt, 1-1. Lockenmeyer still on the mound. Of course, had those control issues last inning, allowing Hastings to score a run. One's across the board, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out for Selesky.
Ooh, came inside with the fastball.
That was inside. Selesky jumped back a little bit, but nonetheless, we have our second strike of this at-bat. Selesky versus Lockenmeyer, 1-2. Up to third base again for King. Throws it over in the dirt, but unable to be handled by Highbury. Selesky will reach, and the Raiders have a run on with 1 out.
It looked like maybe a little in-between hop to King there, because at first he wanted to come in and charge it, then he kind of stayed back, and then once he fielded it, I think he had to rush his throw, right? And
yeah.
That's where, when he rushed his throw, that resulted in that one hop that Highbury, who normally is a amazing glovesman over at first and flashes leather, and maybe the sun got a little bit in his eyes or two, but at the same time was unable to corral that one hop from King, so that sends the first error of the game for Eagan.
Johnny Teglin now at the plate with Selesky on first. Yeah, you wonder what that rushed throw, if it landed in the dirt or if it landed in the grass. Always difficult for a first baseman to decide how that's going to bounce in front of him.
Yep.
0-1 for Teglin in the dirt, 1-1.
And King's had a lot of action at third already today. I think we're not even through the third inning, and that was already his third or fourth ground ball today.
Yeah, definitely back-to-back as well.
Yep. And that's due to, a left-handed pitcher, right, throwing that slider inside to the right-handed hitter, trying to induce those ground balls that they pound into the dirt towards third.
Lefty versus righty, 2-1 for Teglin. Teglin had that long at-bat his first time up, looking for another long one now. Lockenmeyer trying to put a stop to those
plans. Yeah, it looks like the
plans.
sun is only really in the eyes of first base right now, right, as far as the fielders go.
Yes, and you see he dropped the ball there with just a basic throw from Lockenmeyer.
Yep.
Basically the only positions, and you kind of see the first baseman Highbury fighting the sun.
Right.
He's literally holding his glove in front of his face.
He probably has a half inning, and that's not going to be an issue anymore, right?
This one is going to be popped.
It's like Tomey's going to call it off, and Tomey's it was an infield. Oh, not an infield fly. Infield fly would be first and second. Tomey, I don't know if there's some confusion with him and Highbury at first. Lost it. I think when he looked over at Highbury, then by the time he looked back up, he didn't track it anymore. But at the same time, Selesky can't take off to second on that, right? You don't want to get doubled up.
Yeah, that's a really, really difficult and we'll have a courtesy runner brought in here. That is going to be Gavin Radent, the senior infielder. But yeah, always difficult in situations like that for the runner on first, Selesky, in that situation to decide, hey, do we want to get doubled up here? Is the ball's going to be caught anyway?
Well, yeah. I mean, it wasn't even hit towards the grass. So, I mean, it was a smart move to get back to first. It's just that Tomei looked over, and I think he thought that Iveri was going to call him off. By the time he looked back up, he already came too far in.
Just unfortunate there.
Got the center fielder Kimmis now.
And the scoreboard will reset for us. It is 1-0 for Kimez. Standing room only.
So that's about as weird of a fielder's choice as you're going to see, Carl, there on that last play.
I do agree with that.
It could be considered an error, but he never got his glove on it, so it was truly just a fielder's choice.
That one was very inside for Kimez.
Yeah, it looks like it almost caught his back.
Yeah, we're now going to have a mound visit here as Lunenburg will go chat with Lockenmeyer. And the manager of Eagan will chat with the home plate umpire. That is Steve Butler, having some communication as Lunenburg finishes his conversation with Lockenmeyer. And things get back going here for Kimez, the Gustavus commit. A Gustavus commit on both of these teams today.
Yep.
Joe Anderson, the outfielder for Eagan, is the other one. 2-0 for Kimez. Runner on first. Swung on. Strike one.
I think if I'm counting correctly, I think it's, 3 lefties for Hastings in the lineup today, or just Kimmis and Hendrickson, maybe just the 2?
Tegland at first. Strike 2, called. Called on Kimez. Number 7 for the Raiders. Raiders 2 errors so far. Eagan only 1. Lockenmeyer and Kimez. 2-2, 2 outs. Low, ball 3.
And coming into today, too, Danny Lockenmeyer, 8 games pitched, 7 games started. That's tied for on the team, and then second on the team with 36 2/3 inning coming into today.
Full count with 2 outs for Kimez. Lockenmeyer trying to finish the third. Will he do it? Not on that one. That's going to be fouled back. And the batter on deck, Blake Vandehoff, will pick it up.
Yep.
And Tegland, number 18 for the Raiders.
Radent off and running on 3-2 pitch.
Gavin Radent.
Yep. But also have to be mindful that you have a lefty on the mound, right? So that way you don't get taken off too early and get picked at first. Gotta make sure you watch that. There you go. There's that move.
Yeah, speak of the devil right there, that pickoff move to first.
Lefties have such an advantage, don't they, Carl?
Absolutely. They're staring right down at first base.
Exactly.
The righties almost got to look over their shoulder or
absolutely
make something a lot more obvious. This one's coming straight down. That'll be a walk for Kimez. Kimez reaches, base on balls, and Radent will advance to second. Now here comes Vandehoff, the left fielder.
Now hitting the left fielder, number 14.
The Raiders loaded the bases last inning. Can they do it again?
Yep, and Vandehoff was the one that sparked that rally. And that was the hit by pitch that was actually in the dirt. So it bounced off the dirt first, and then caught him in the shin. And it was followed by 3 straight walks to give Hastings their first run of the game.
Radent at second, Kimez at first. Lockenmeyer pitching to Vandehoff. 2 outs, bottom of the third.
Yeah, Radent, the courtesy runner for the catcher Tegland. Or no, for Selesky.
No, it was Tegland because Selesky was he was called out at second on that awkward play.
There you go. Yep, that way.
0-1. 0-1 for Vandehoff. Lockenmeyer staring down his catcher, accepting the pitch he's about to throw. Lockenmeyer, 0-1, 2 runners on. Vandehoff. That one's going to reach the back wall. The runners will advance.
So it takes away the force play. So now your play's at first for the infield.
Radent to third. And Kimez to second. Lockenmeyer has not necessarily dug himself into a hole, but he's in a situation now that he wants to desperately get out of. This is the second straight inning that he's had 2 runners in scoring position to end the inning, or at least trying to end the inning here. Here he comes against Van de Hoff. Way inside.
Lockemeyer does lead the Wildcats with 42 strikeouts, but where, as we've seen here early on, where sometimes he gets bit is he has 37 walks on the year. So not that 2-to-1 that you want to see for strikeouts to walk ratio.
Up high, Van de Hoff takes a deep breath, steps back, realizing that he has an advantage now. No force play, 3-1.
Eagan can get some activity in the bullpen. Looks like it'll be the junior fireballer bulldog Jackson Tassalis is starting to get loose here for Eagan.
3-1 for Van de Hoff, 2 runners in scoring position. Swings through. He wanted that one, but he was just underneath it with his bat.
Yeah, you kind of wonder here if Lockmeyer's just going to try to chase. He's going to try to trust his fastball here and not go off speed.
And here comes Lockenmeyer. Ends the inning. Second inning in a row. Lockenmeyer gets out of the jam. Hastings scores no runs in the third, and that'll be the end of the third inning. Lockenmeyer survives again. Hastings unable to rally in the third. Here in Burnsville, Minnesota, for this semifinal matchup in 3 quadruple A, Hastings and Eagan.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how's sketches, vaping? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes. Look at that. You didn't even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you got to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
One scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
When the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
I'm relying on luck, but who knows if it'll be on my side.
When it comes to disasters and emergencies, it's not a matter of if, but when. Take control. 1. Assess your needs. 2. Make a plan. 3. Engage your support network. Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell.
Back in Burnsville, Carl Warner here with Casey for this semifinal matchup between Eagan and Hastings. The Wildcats currently up 3-1 here in the top of the fourth over the Raiders. We will have Tony Highberry, Matt Cunningham, and Joe Anderson no matter what here in the top of the fourth. Hastings the higher seed. They are the home team, even though we're at a neutral site today. And Eagan much closer to home as Selesky delivers. Strike one.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, Tony Highberry's only home run of the season happened here against Burnsville. It was about 10 feet up that light pole in left center, just a complete bomb. So, I mean, you know the big guy's got some strength in that bat.
Yeah, the lights have now come on here.
I called it, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. We are still a good 40 minutes away from sunset. In the dirt, ball 2-1.
And Highberry comes in with a hot bat. He had an RBI in both playoff games. So, an RBI in the Eastview win and an RBI in their win against Two Rivers as well.
2-1. That one's going to be popped up. No play. Landed back in the parking lot here. New ball will be on the way for Selesky. Number 2 on the mound for the Raiders.
Return that ball for a free bag of popcorn, Carl?
Not in this economy. That might get you a half a Snickers bar.
Yeah. One gummy worm.
Yeah, one gummy worm. Here comes Selesky. Popped up over to first. Looking at it is Lundstrom. Underneath it makes the catch. 1 out for the Raiders.
I will say this, Carl. It's an interesting sky with no clouds, right? So, I mean, when the balls are hit up above the lights, if you're not paying attention, you can lose it pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. And now, luckily, we have a lot of great tree cover around here. The sun is not set yet, but it is fully behind the trees. So now there's still some sun on that right field wall, but the right fielder himself is not in the sun.
Shouldn't come in play.
Selesky against Matt Cunningham. 1-0.
Yeah, so Cunningham is a senior. Interesting kind of story with Cunningham. He's kind of played a little bit all over. Shortstop, second. Now kind of has found a home in right field. Good pop in his bat. He's got 3 doubles on the year. One of those doubles came at this park against Burnsville, and he's also 9 for 11 if he does reach the base on stolen base attempts.
2-0 for Cunningham. And that'll add to the ball count here, 3-0.
And I know I mentioned it to you before the game, Carl, but Eagan, not the most power or pop. They don't hit a lot of home runs per se, but they do steal 85% of their bases.
Yes, you did mention that before the game.
Yeah, so a lot of speed, and they like to get the guys moving on the bases to put the defense in motion, right?
Right.
On the season, they're 79 for 92 as a team.
3-1. Back up to Hendrickson, gets underneath it, will whip it over to first, and Lundstrom finishes the play. 2 outs for the Raiders here in the top of the 4th. Trying to go 1-2-3 is Selesky. He'll have to finish off Joe Anderson to finish that job.
Here we go, Joe Crow!
Yeah, and actually, and we're going to watch the replay here as we watch Cunningham try to motor down to first. Hendrickson, on the day, after that one ground ball that jumped up off of his chest, now he's at just routine grounders now.
Here we go, Joe!
So Anderson steps in, as he said, Carl.
Yeah, Anderson's going to step in, 1-0 for Joe. Back to Teglin there.
Looked like he hit a mud ball there for a second, as golfers would say that they don't like to hit out of the fairway.
Yeah, I know that Anderson might want to have a mulligan on that one. We have fans all the way up each fence line here. It is standing room only. Everyone wants to get their eyes on this high-stakes playoff matchup. A lot of family, friends, classmates, all out to Burnsville at this neutral site. 3-1.
I would say that, for those that want to sit in the grandstand right behind home plate, I think they had to show up at least 45 minutes, an hour before the game.
Oh, absolutely. We were here at least an hour and 30 minutes before, and there were a couple of people up there.
Already, yeah.
Yeah. Smashed up to Hendrickson, will make his second play in a row, throws it over to first, inning over. Lundstrom involved in all 3 outs, 1-2-3. We will send it down to the Raider end of the 4th.
How you feel on the inside is just as important to me as how you feel on the outside.
Oh, Daddy.
I'm grown up in every way, care and take care of you. You're my grown up and I know you're there.
You're grown up and you know I care.
'Cause it's you and me and me and you.
So when you are okay or not okay, I'll take care of you.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
It's something about having that piece of paper. Some people think that's worth more than my skills.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
You just gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Analytics and empathy. That's how I've gained clients.
I am more.
I'm more
than who I am on paper.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Burnsville for this semifinal matchup in 3 quadruple A. Eagan up 3-1 over the Hastings Raiders here in the bottom of the 4th. Strike one for Mark DeNoyer. Leads the Raiders as discussed earlier in strikeouts.
DeNoyer walked in his first at bat, made his way all the way to third as he watched Van de Hoff score that first run of the game for Hastings.
We've seen some action in the Wildcat bullpen, but Lockenmeyer's still in.
Yeah, one of those games, Carl, right? No run is too safe, no lead is too safe. You always want to have somebody ready because all it takes is a hit or two, and you need to have somebody ready to come in and change up sight lines to the hitters.
Absolutely, and we've mentioned it several times during this broadcast. The last 2 matchups between these 2 teams went down to 1 run. It's a 2-run game right now, but I got a pretty good feeling it's not going to stay that way.
Right.
Swings through. That'll be the first strike against DeNoyer.
As you mentioned, Lockenmeyer, the senior, he was kind of debating between Mankato State, Minnesota State, Mankato. There's strike 3.
That's strike 3, and DeNoyer did not think so.
No. Lockenmeyer, I think as of maybe a week or 2 ago, was still undecided between Minnesota State, Mankato, or Concordia St. Paul for his next level college baseball. So we're going to take a look at this pitch. DeNoyer was ready to jog down to first. That caught the inside corner at the knees on that slider by Lockenmeyer.
Yeah, and when the batter takes off like that, assuming it's got to be hard for the umpire to not give it a little bit more oomph on his strike call to not let him know.
Yeah, you never want to assume, right?
Yeah, hey, buddy, that was actually, or at least I thought it was a strike.
I mean, there's times as a hitter where I've been told by the umpire, like, you can go to first, because I'm like, well, that pitch looked pretty good.
2-0 for Carter Lundstrom, the 9-hole hitter, first baseman, involved in all 3 outs in the top of the 4th.
And Lundstrom walked in the bottom of the 2nd as well. So he's looking to try to see some strikes from Lockenmeyer for the first time today as it's quickly 3-0.
Number 26 for the Raiders. Not a short guy, and that last ball was at his head. Lockenmeyer looking down 3-0 for the 2nd time.
As you mentioned, Lockenmeyer, fastball, slider, changeup is his repertoire on the mound.
Keeps that, he steps off the mound there, and Lockenmeyer keeps his glove up to his face, and he delivers the 3-1. That will be a walk. 2nd Raider in a row to be walked, but this time the bat flip actually pays off. As Lundstrom reaches first, and Sawyer Chumsland will come to the plate.
A Suedo walk was the one before, because it wasn't a true walk, right?
Suedo walk.
Suedo walk. So we got some more action in the bullpen. This is going to be Kevin Kemp. He's going to get ready for the Wildcats. He's a sophomore. Kevin Kemp was a member of the state basketball team for the Wildcats. I think he stands about 6'7".
1-0 for Chumsland. 1-1.
So the one thing I'm kind of waiting to see too, Carl, is see when Hastings starts either putting some guys in motion, whether it's straight steals or hit runs. We haven't seen too much of that here today.
Yeah, you are right about that, as
I know Henderson, took off at 2nd.
Yeah, as Chumsland eats strike 2, you have to wonder when the Raiders are going to have to start throwing around some bodies on the bases. As Lunenburg threatens a throw to Highbury at first. Does not pull the trigger. 2-2 for Chumsland, who does hold the stolen bases record for Hastings this season. Chumsland swings through, strikes out.
So that's the one thing I'll mention, Carl, is in that 2nd inning, it was kind of odd that Lockenmeyer was having such struggles with finding the zone, because it seems like his fastball is his best pitch today. That's the one that some of these Hastings hitters are having a hard time to catch up to.
Yeah, those slower pitches have been not in the zone for him today.
Right.
He's had a lot more success with the fastball. And here's Alex Hendrickson, Metro East All-Star Alex Hendrickson, trying to put his future Tommy bat to use here.
As we mentioned, Hendrickson had that big shot to right field, about 2 feet short of a home run that he cruised into second for a double in the first, but was stranded at second in the bottom of the first. Nice play by Lunenburg there to keep Lundstrom at first there. I think he was expecting it outside. He was expecting an outside pitch, and it was a fastball in the inside corner. He had to kind of jump at it, and we see Kevin Kemp getting loose in the pen for the Wildcats.
1-1 for Hendrickson. Drives that one deep into center, but underneath it is Gage. Eagan stays on top, 3-1. Coming to you next with the top of the 5th from Burnsville.
How you holding up? Nothing wrong with getting help.
If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence?
Now you need my help.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Donating pet food can keep families together. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Welcome back to playoff baseball here. Hastings versus Eagan, Wildcats and Raiders. 3-1 lead for Eagan right now, but if past history between these two teams tells us anything, it's going to get closer than that. We're going to have Alex Tomey lead things off here in the top of the 5th.
And one thing I'll mention too real quick, Carl, too, is and I think obviously the Hastings fans recognize this probably more than the Eagan fans. So far through 4 innings, Hastings has 7 guys left on base, whereas Eagan only has 2 guys left on base. So, and obviously they left the bases loaded in the bottom of the 2nd. So Hastings has had runners on base against Lockmere. They just haven't had that one big hit to kind of, move guys multiple bases or score somebody from second.
Or they've had the big hit and it just wasn't in the correct, timing of things. Right. How much they would have loved to have that Hendrickson drive into right that we saw in the first with batters actually on base.
Correct.
Alex Tomey in, 0-1 versus Selesky.
Tomey is a senior, 300 on base percentage. Doesn't steal a lot. He's 1 for 1 on the season. Scored 4 runs from the second base slot. That's where he's primarily played this year.
Be 1-2 for Tomey. Selesky in his 5th inning of work. Drives that one into left field, but underneath it is Vandehoff. Vandehoff finishes the play. That will bring us back to the top of the Wildcats lineup with Tate Gage, the center fielder.
Tate Gage towards the top of all Eagan statistics offensively. 348 on base, 4 doubles coming into today. 12 RBIs, which is second on the team. 15 runs, number 1 on the team. And he leads the team at 14 out of 15 for stolen bases. Does the speedster Gage.
Selesky. Big changeup. Borderline in the dirt for ball 1.
Been told, too, that Gage kind of has some opportunities for baseball or football at the next level, even though he's only a junior right now.
A lot of multi-sport athletes as this athlete swings through for strike 1. A lot of softball players who play volleyball in the fall and then basketball in the winter, or even wrestle. We've got a lot of state champion wrestlers in Hastings. This one's driven sharply up to second base, fumbled but then collected over to Lundstrom. DeNoyer fumbled it for a second but ended up making the play. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th for Eagan.
And it kind of, he stayed down on it, and when it popped up, it never got higher than his shoulders. So it actually was able just to kind of pop up. He was able to barehand it and just throw the quick throw because he knew that he had speed on the bases, or speed coming out of home plate by Gage.
Exactly. Lundstrom stayed calm, cooled, and collected it first, and DeNoyer got in front of the baseball. So even if he didn't handle it on the first go-around, he was able to collect it. As we see ball 1, Selesky having a bit of a struggle staying out of the dirt here in the top of the 5th, but still has 2 outs on 2 hits into the infield. Driven into the gap, and that one's going to be a great catch from Kimez. Kimez reaches up and finishes the top of the 5th for the Raiders. We'll have a replay here before the break. That was a very, very quick top of the 5th. Exactly what Selesky needed.
I think I counted 7 pitches there for Selesky. For a split second there, it did look like Kimez was maybe going to get burned there, that ball might be able to jump over his glove here. He took a nice route to it, and then was able to just kind of pull up and use that reach to bring it in. So I'll let Carl send it back to the truck here.
Yeah, great catch there by Kimez to end the top, a very quick top of the 5th. 3-1 Wildcats. We will see you on the second half of this inning.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
you're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
This can't be happening. This can't be happening.
Of course it's not happening. Armored car. Listen, having money isn't about luck. Make your own coffee, save $1,000 a year. Feed me.
Feed the pig.
Welcome back in. Bottom of the 5th here in Burnsville, Minnesota. This is playoff action. Winner of today will advance to the final of the Section 3 Quadruple A MSHSL bracket, with a trip to state looming large ahead. Whoever wins this section will be decided on Wednesday in the final. And of course, whoever wins today will only have to win one more game to advance to state and CHS Field in downtown St. Paul. Evan Nelson at the plate for the Raiders.
With the championship game being played at Target Field.
Yes, the championship game being played big time there in Minneapolis at the home of your Minnesota Twins. Welcome back Royce Lewis tomorrow in the Bronx.
Here we go.
It's fouled off back, but that one landed right on top of the bathrooms here.
And an excellent catch by our fan there. One-hand catch with a good throw to the on-deck hitter.
Yeah, that you heard that. You may have been able to hear the tin on top of the. Yeah, I think we actually caught it on film here. But it hit the top of the tin on the bathroom, and then it bounced straight to a fan.
I might have been more impressed with the on-target throw to Selesky on deck. Reminder to everybody that Hastings is the number 2 seed. Eagan is the number 5 seed.
Hastings finishing first place in the Metro East. Lockenmeyer to Nelson. Strike.
And to remind everybody, too, how they got here, right? Oh, here we go. Here's that replay. Off the 10, loud one-hand grab, and then a quick flip to Selesky. Selesky didn't have to move for it.
3-2 full count for Nelson, but we're still talking about it for good reason.
Somebody buy that guy a Gatorade.
Exactly, because that fan couldn't even see where the ball was going to come from. Drives that one sharply, but just foul up the left field line.
So just a reminder, Hastings, how they got here. They won a 5-4 win over number 7 Park Cottage Grove, and then also an 8-2 win against number 6 Rosemont.
Indeed. Hastings defeating the Irish and the Wolfpack. Fouled back Nelson stays alive.
And then to remind people how Eagan got here, that's the number 5 seed. They had to travel to Eastview, their crosstown rival. They won a 4-3 game, which Danny Lockemeyer pitched 5 1/3 innings in that one. And then they beat the number 1 seed, Two Rivers, formerly known as Henry Sibley, 3-1 last Wednesday.
Full count, Nelson drives that one through into the outfield. Nelson will reach first, unable to be handled by King or Eckerly. That one just scooted through there, centimeters of a difference.
The pitcher, number 2, Jack Selesky.
Yeah, kind of a double diver there, right?
Yeah.
King was diving for it. He had the best chance. I mean, if King is able to come up with this, he maybe has a throw. If Eckerly comes up with it, as strong as Eckerly's arm is, he's not going to still get, Nelson at first. It would have been, King would have had to get that and probably throw it off of his knees to hope to get Nelson down the first base line.
Oh, that one went straight into that one didn't go inside the Raider dugout, but it definitely spooked the Raiders inside. You see that little yellow thing that they're leaning on? That's basically what that last foul hit.
Sometimes people call that the old ugly finder, but I'm not going to say that because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Plus, we have 170-plus people listening live online. So thank you to all those that tuned in here today on Hastings Community Television.
Thank you for joining us on the free YouTube live stream.
Not much of a lead by Nelson at first.
In the dirt, ball 1. 1-2 for Selesky versus Lockenmeyer. Nelson on first.
Selesky trying to help his cause here. Still pitching here, starting pitcher today. Also the designated hitter, so if he does get relieved of his pitching duties, he will more than likely stay in at the plate.
Selesky watches that one again.
Lunenburg doing a nice job of blocking some of those sliders in the dirt, keeping Nelson at first.
Count is even at 2.
Which is so very important, as you know, Carl, to keep that force out at second or even the double play in play.
There hasn't been scoring in a while, but Lockenmeyer knows how quickly things can change. 2-2, Selesky. Oh, that was...
Change-up just on the outside corner, misses.
That was as close as you can get it.
One of his better change-ups all day, too.
Got about 300 people here in Burnsville watching live on the edge of their seats, and a lot of them standing. Full count, Lockenmeyer, Selesky. No outs. Selesky in the dirt, he will walk. No outs, 2 runners on. Nelson to second, Selesky to first.
That's going to probably bring out Coach Butler for either a mound visit or maybe Lockenmeyer's day could be done. We'll see here.
The infielders collapse onto the mound, and very much looks like as he makes the signal with his right hand over to the bullpen, Lockenmeyer's day is over.
And more than likely, I think it's going to be Kevin Kemp that'll be coming in. Just a ball in the dirt. I mean, nothing over the top here to look at.
Yeah.
Lockemeyer, the senior, just threw a slider in the dirt.
And we will.
Lockemeyer will leave, throwing 4 complete innings, but he is still responsible for Nelson as well as Selesky.
And
Yep, Kevin Kemp, like I said, 6'7", 6'8". He's a power forward. He was on the state basketball team for Eagan. And the Eagan, if you recall, had the big upset of his first round of state. I think it was it Park, I think, that they upset, which Park, I think, was the number 2 overall seed.
Yeah, I was not there for that game, but I was present at the Target Center for Farmington's first round game.
Sure.
And Farmington, they had a great student section, very loud at the Target Center's been loud for a lot of reasons the last couple of months, and that was definitely one of them.
So I'll give you some stats on Kemp. As I mentioned, Kemp is a sophomore, 9 games pitched this season, 13 innings pitched in those 9 games. He's 1-1 on the season, 9 earned runs, 16 strikeouts to 9 walks. He does have a 4.8 ERA, primarily fastball with a sharp curveball as well.
I don't mean to interrupt you here, but the first 2...
Don't worry about it. He's just warming up. I mean, what does that matter?
The first two warm-up pitches have both reached the back wall.
This isn't 11-year-old baseball, okay? If we can let the kids and we can let the fans cheer for balls that go in the dirt, but I don't think that really matters right now. It doesn't matter until a guy gets in the plate.
True.
There we go. Live look at Ben. Give us a wave, Ben. Oh, there you go. Get a little suave head nod by Ben. And we also have Ian and Ashley manning and womanning the cameras as well. There's Ian. Oh, there we go. The peace sign, the double deuce. And then we have Hunter and Tim in the truck doing excellent work on our production, replay, and graphics. Looks like Jackson Tesalis will also get loosened up in the bullpen for Eagan too.
Now pitching.
So Nelson at second, as you heard from Carl. Selesky at first. Teglin's about to come up.
Yeah, Teglin's about to come up here for the Raiders with 2 runners on base and no outs. This is maybe the best Raider opportunity to put some runs on the board, and that's going to start with the pride and joy of Hastings baseball, the Teglin family.
Hastings still sitting on that 1 hit, which was that double by Hendrickson in the bottom of the first.
Kemp now on the mound against Teglin. High ball 1.
Havari playing on the grass in case of a bunt by Teglin. Looks like King is playing about even with third as well. Want to take a bunt away or make sure if there is a bunt that they are able to at least get 1 out here.
Teglin close to his knees. 2 balls. It was worth noting, you take a look at the defense there as we just described, it was worth noting that the first 2 warm-up pitches for Kemp did reach the back wall here behind the catcher. 2-0 for Teglin, 2 runners on, no outs, ball 3. The Raiders now can start to feel it in their dugout. As Teglin takes a very deep breath, get his legs underneath them as he tries to drive one and get the Raiders back in this game down 2 runs. 3-0, no outs, bottom of the 5th, Teglin versus Kemp. Johnny will walk. Bases loaded for the Raiders, and here comes Cade Kimez, a college commit.
The center fielder, number 7, Cade Kimez.
Looks like Radiant's going to come in again for Teglin, courtesy runner at first.
Teglin will jog back to the plate, and he's given some advice now.
Wow, Kemp he threw three fastballs and 1 curveball. So, and that curveball was right around the zone that he didn't get a call on. We're going to see pitching coach Luke Degremont.
As Lunenburg has a conversation with Kemp, Teglin just had a conversation with Cade Kimez, maybe giving him some advice on. Maybe Kemp was tipping some pitches out there. You reckon?
No, he's just probably asking him, how that curveball, the 1 curveball he saw looked. I mean, you have to remember too. These guys don't face each other during the season, right? So,
yeah.
Yes, they can get some scouting reports, but these hitters aren't actually getting live at-bats against these guys, right?
Right. Only playoff matchups between Hastings and Eagan.
And, as I mentioned, too, Eagan had 10 seniors last year, so, a lot of these guys are new to Hastings, whereas,
right.
a lot of these seniors from Hastings more than likely were starters last year.
Lots of turnover. The Hastings girls lacrosse team was majority seniors this year. They look towards a new era. Kemp will pitch to Kimez here with the bases loaded and no outs as the Eagan faithful are starting to hold their breath. Not a lot of noise from the Eagan fans, but the Hastings Raider fans are about ready to explode.
So corners are in, so ground ball to them. They're going to come home to try to get that force out. So Hiveria in at first and King in at third.
Kimez watches that one sail. Up high, ball 1. No strikes yet from Kemp. 5 pitches, 5 strikes.
5 balls.
5 balls, excuse me. Thank you. First strike. It took 6 pitches, but he got it. 1-1 for Kimez.
And when Kemp's going good, it's the down, since he's so tall, he's got the natural downward movement of his fastball, but it's that curveball is really that strikeout pitch
Eagan
for Kemp.
Here's Kemp. Strike 2. If Of course, Kimez does not want to hit into a ground ball double play, but easier said than done.
But Kimez also has some speed, so I think he has a good chance of breaking up a double play ball as well.
Right.
Especially hitting from the left side. Step or so closer to first.
Kimez.
Oof, that was close.
That was a tough look, but it came up Kimez's way. 2-2 for the center fielder. K on K action here. Kemp and Kimez. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 0 outs, bases loaded, Raiders down 2. Here's Kimez. He gets hit by the pitch, and that will bring in a run. The lead is down to 1, and here comes Vanderhoff.
And that will be the end of the day for Kemp as he only faces 2 batters.
Less than 10 pitches for Kemp, and a look of disappointment on his face as he looks down. He will be brought out. He will receive applause from the Eagan faithful for his efforts. Definitely not as much applause as Lockenmeyer received, but nonetheless, his afternoon is over. The lights are on here in Burnsville. The bases are loaded. Still no outs. The Raiders only down by 1. At the bottom of their order, they have a chance to not only take the lead here, but blow the game open.
Okay, so this is a newer pitcher here for Eagan coming in. It's going to be junior Andrew Likas, and he actually only has 1 game pitched on the season. Got brought up from JV. 2 innings pitched, 1 K. So I can't really give you a whole lot of a scouting report as we watch that ball kind of graze the calf of Kimez. Can't give you a full scouting report on our new pitcher for Eagan because I haven't seen him at home yet this year, and he just got called up recently. He's a junior.
He appears to be throwing fire from the mound. Very clean delivery. His warm-up pitches are not hitting the back wall. They are hitting the back of Lunenberg's glove. Very calm and collected on the mound is Likas. As we get ready here.
I think what Eagan is hoping to do is to save Jackson Tasalis, who's been their most consistent reliever, for the latter parts of the game, and not have him try to come in here in the 5th and try to hold him, to cruise to finish the game out. So that's why I think we're going to Kemp to Likas, and then holding on to Tasalis as well on the Eagan side of things.
I hear what you're saying. They're trying to save their best for the situation.
Right. And they don't really have a closer per se, but I would say Tasalis would be that guy. He's 1 for 1 in save opportunities.
We will have a righty on righty. Bases loaded, still no outs. Vanderhoff versus Likas. The 3rd pitcher this inning for the Wildcats.
So tough situation here for Likas. This is only 2nd time of the season he has to come in bases loaded.
That was a interesting ball call, but 1-0.
He's been consistent, not calling that top of the zone.
Got some comments coming in from the Eagan crowd.
Vanderhoff scored the first run of the game in the 2nd.
Vanderhoff is going to fly that one into shallow right. It'll drop. Hastings scores 1 run, and the game is tied.
Force out at 2nd.
But a force out at 2nd. So 1 out will come with the run.
Yep, so base hit fell in, but Cunningham, heads-up player, as I mentioned earlier, has experience at short and 2nd. So he knew that in that scenario, because the runner at first base had a hold in case that Tomei got back and made the catch, or Cunningham was able to get that big out at 2nd base to Eckerly. So base hit, it was in between Tomei and Cunningham, but then Cunningham quickly turns his body, makes a strong throw for the force out to Eckerly to retire Kimez.
Give credit, that was a really, really good reaction to get that runner at 2nd.
Yep. Yeah, because a lot of times, your natural reaction is you want to try to throw the hero ball to home, right?
or not even notice the runner that's going to second. That was a laser throw over to first. That's really what I would like to describe this like it's throw. Just a straight laser.
So you got the courtesy runner, Radent at third.
DeNoyer at his head. Ball 1 to number 9 on the Raiders. The Raiders have the game tied. They've come all the way back. Runners on first and third. Can DeNoyer punching a run? Didn't hit him, but it was close. Ball 2.
Our scoreboard is incorrect. There is 1 out for Eagan right now here in the bottom of the 5th.
Indeed, 1 out. Like it. DeNoyer at his head again. Ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Hastings has scored 2 runs this half inning and is looking to take the lead. Can DeNoyer do it for him? He might, but he'll eat strike 1 first. Looking. DeNoyer takes strike 2. Full count now with 1 out. 3, 2, and 1. 1 out. Like it's against DeNoyer. And he'll step off. No one was at third base, but just wanted to intimidate the runner over there.
He wanted to see if Vandenhoff was going to take off early. He got the courtesy runner,
right.
Radent at third.
Keep Radent on it. DeNoyer. He will walk, bases loaded again.
Close pitch on the inside corner, but it also didn't help that he went 3-0 to start that at bat. So number 9 hitter right now is Lundstrom, the first baseman.
You got a lot of comments coming in. I just heard a "Bring it in, Lundy" from the crowd. Lundstrom standing next to the catcher, Lunenberg.
Egan's infield playing up. They do not want to double play. They want to cut the runoff at home or at least hold the runner at third to go to first. So Eckerly and Tomey in on the grass as well as the corners.
Lundstrom. Remember, there's only 1 out. Only 1 out for Eagan here as the 9-hole hitter tries to take the lead for the first time this game for the Raiders. Likitz and Lundstrom. As Lundstrom calls timeout, wants to get things back situated. Raiders with a great opportunity to take the lead. Can Carter do it for the Raiders? Here it comes. Tried to lay down the bunt, no throw.
So actually Hastings was saved there because Radent actually didn't take off as early as he probably should have and didn't get caught in the hot box. So
indeed, he could have been caught in a pickle there.
Exactly. So by not getting it down, it didn't burn him in that scenario, and Lundstrom still has 1 more strike here at this at-bat.
0-2 for Lundstrom. The bases are loaded. 1 out. Playoff baseball. Winner 1 game away from state. Carter.
I mean, he hasn't been calling that high strike all day, so it's just that's a tough pitch.
Want to remind all of our guests at today's event to be nice to our officials.
I don't know if they're going to hear us, though, Carl.
Indeed. Swings through. 2 outs.
Sweeper right there by, so you can tell he took something off that curveball for a huge strike for the 2nd out by Likas. But that does bring up Chumsland, the top of the lineup, as you can watch this sweeper of a curveball that left Lundstrom just kind of flailing at the plate.
Sawyer Chumsland now back to the top of the Raider lineup. The last hope for the Raiders to take the lead here in the bottom of the 5th.
And a reminder, too, I mean, Hastings has done all of this, have scored all 3 runs with still only 1 hit, and that 1 hit was the 2nd hitter of the game, which was Hendrickson's double.
Hastings looking for a big swing right now. Can Chumsland give it to them? Chumsland. Strike 1.
You can tell Likas is definitely starting to get comfortable here on the mound, right? Between hitting that fastball and then also mixing in that sweeper of a curve.
Likas and Chumsland 0-1 with 2 outs. Playoff baseball here in Burnsville. Chumsland swings through, but it's going to be fouled away. Right back to us.
This is always a tricky pitch. You don't want to throw something too nice, but you also, if you throw a curveball, you don't want to spike it in the dirt, because if it gets past Lunenburg, that's going to allow Radin to come in to score.
Chumsland. Strike 3, inning over. Lycus limits the damage to 2, does not give up the lead, and the game is still tied. The Raiders have had a lot of runners left on base, and they have not been able to take advantage of them. Tie game here at the end of the 5th.
Yeah, another sweeping curve, and that time it caught Chumsland looking for a fastball. So we'll be back in 60 seconds here for the top of the 6th. We got a 3-3 game, Carl. We'll be back here, top of the 6th here at Alamagna Park.
My character, Shazam, knows all about growing up in a family full of teenage superheroes. They're bold.
Where's everyone going?
To fight crime?
Okay. Adventurous. Shazam! There's never a dull moment. And no matter what happens, they'll always have your back. All they need is a place to grow and be themselves. And the best part is, you don't have to be a superhero to adopt a teen. Learn more about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward.
Wash, washy, wash, washy, wash, wash your hands. Scrub them while you sing this song. Wash, washy, wash, washy, wash, wash. Rub your hands and fingers and the places in between. Using soap and water makes your hands so clean. Wash your hands. Great job, you're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now dry.
Wash your hands for 20 seconds, just like Elmo.
Here at Alamagna Park, it's 3-3. It's been an exciting game. Eagan scored 3 in the top of the 2nd. Scored 2 of them with 2 outs, Carl. And then Hastings followed that up with 1 in the bottom of the 2nd. And now Hastings has tied it up with 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th. We got Will Mitchell, the sophomore, will step in. The designated hitter today, Selesky, still on the mound, the starter, senior for Hastings. What have you seen from Selesky here today, Carl?
Well, other than that pitch that landed about 10 feet from for me a few seconds ago, I've seen a lot of consistency. We saw a really unfortunate top of the 2nd, but otherwise he has not let people on.
Right. I mean, he gave up 2 doubles to Lunenburg. That's about the one guy that's really kind of got to him. Eckerly had that RBI single.
So now Eagan is 3 pitchers deep. Hastings obviously still on their first as,
correct.
You wonder here, because now Tegland is going to have a mound visit with Selesky. You wonder if that longer bottom of the 5th for Eagan allowed maybe Selesky to get out of his zone a little bit.
I mean, he's a senior, so I mean, I think if he was a sophomore, a youngster that hasn't been in situations like this, then that might maybe come into play a little bit more. But it looks like we're going to see a little bit of action maybe now from Hastings in the bullpen. A hot shot hit by Mitchell, but a good beat on it by Kimmis, and he's going to run that one down in right center gap. It looks like the one thing I will say this, looks like the scouting report for the Eagan hitters is to try to go to the right center field, to go to the opposite field and go with the pitch on Selesky, as he hasn't been throwing a lot of fastballs inside to the Eagan hitters today.
Yeah, he's trying to stay away from those hot zones where you can really just smash him over the wall or, just really make some great contact.
So sophomore Brandon Lunenburg, as I mentioned, 2 doubles on the day, 2 for 2 today. Spikes a curveball in the dirt. Lunenburg helps out his other fellow battery mate, Tegland.
Yeah, that one landed right back in the hand of the batter, and he kind of just dropped it on the ground for Tegland instead of just handing it back.
So if you notice now too, Carl, it looks like Kimmis is even shading even more to right center now with Lunenburg, because both of his doubles happen to that right center gap here today.
He definitely is. He's very much closer to the scoreboard than he is center field, direct center.
Yep.
I guess you can tell because there on that back wall you have the 375
Correct.
mark.
That's right. It's pretty much straight down the middle, right?
Exactly right.
Fastball on the knees on the outside corner, in there for a strike. 2-1. 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Section 3 quadruple A matchup of Hastings. Ripped, but
quite foul. That sound was take the lead.
Well, as I mentioned, Selesky's done a nice job of not coming inside very often, and that time he did come inside, but Lunenburg was able to get in front of it, got good contact, but wasn't unable to keep it in fair play. So 2-2 count, Selesky's pitch in the dirt. Full count, and if you're Eagan, you want to see Lunenburg get on, because then that'll bring in the speedster Jackson Dwyer. Looks like, yep, in the pen is going to be Radin, it looks like, Gavin Radin.
Yeah, Gavin Radin was used as a courtesy runner earlier in the game, but now we'll see him on the mound, it appears.
Lunenburg came into today with 6 doubles, so he adds to that total, now has 8 on the year. 2 home runs, leads the team with 13 RBIs as well. Ripped, and this one could be a Wildcat jack, and it is! Off the top of the fence, a Wildcat jack for Brandon Lunenburg, his 3rd of the season. Selesky comes back inside. That one had just enough top spin as Vandenhoff was trying to time it out to rob it, and it just caught the top of the fence to bounce over as Eagan takes a 4-3 lead on that Wildcat jack by Lunenburg. 3rd on the season, 14th RBI on the season for Lunenburg as well. And now we're going to see the senior shortstop, Ryan Eckerly, is going to step in. The River Falls commit. Fastball misses in. What'd you see on that pitch, Carl?
Until right now, I didn't know you could recreate the Kawhi Leonard playoff buzzer beater in baseball, but it looks like we did.
Eckerly shoots one to the gap. A diving attempt by Vandenhoff, but not caught. Excellent read by Vandenhoff. He knew that thing was going to come pirouetting down towards the left. Coming off the left-handed bat, was going to shoot back his way, but was just about a half a step from making a web gem type of a play.
Yeah.
Second time Eckerly's went to that left center gap.
Most certainly, and obviously everything's moved so fast here in the last couple of minutes, but that wall out there is just about 327 feet, and on that home run, that couldn't have been more than 327. You know, like that was exact right timing, and here.
So an excellent outing by Selesky, and really the guy that really did his damage that he had a hard time with was Lunenburg. Lunenburg was now 3 for 3 with 2 doubles and a home run.
And Selesky's day is over.
But he will stay in the game more than likely as the designated hitter, so he will still hit in his slot for Radin. I think what we're going to do here is we're going to throw it back to the truck if they are ready for us. Yeah, we'll throw it back. We'll be back in 15 seconds or so here as we watch Radin get loose. It's 4-3 here at Alameda Park.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right? It's comfortable. So how's civilian life treating you? It's fine. When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because it felt like a failure. And then I realized, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine. But if you're not, it's okay. Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Fostering a pet for a friend or neighbor can keep families together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
How you holding up? Nothing wrong with getting help.
If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence?
Now you need my help.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Back here at Alameda Park, Section 3 Quadruple A, Casey Lux joined by the youngster, Carl Warner from St. Thomas. And we have a pitching change. We thought maybe it was going to be Radin, but instead it's Gavin Radin going into shortstop, moving the shortstop Alex Hendrickson to the mound. So Hendrickson slides from short to the mound. That's going to bring up the first baseman, the big guy, Tony Haivari, as he's going to settle in at the plate. Ryan Eckerly is at first. Eckerly on the season, 9 of 10 on stolen bases. So it'll be interesting to see if Eagan sends him early and often against Hendrickson and test out Teglin's arm, which they really haven't tested yet today.
Yes, sir. This is where the rubber meets the road right now. This is late game. Just had a barely home run get over. Got a lot of great YouTube viewers right now, over 200 live viewers, people joining us, supporting Eagan, supporting Hastings. A lot of comments going off right now.
And you know what? The other thing, too, is there's probably other teams in this section that are keeping an eye on this game, wondering who they might play, right?
Most certainly. If
So,
you're
give a shout out to the Section 3 Quadruple A, other teams that are checking in.
If you're Rosemont, Eastview, Park, Two Rivers, you're wondering who the loser of this game is going to be eventually.
0-1 count, Hendrickson to Hyveri. Hyveri rocks one out to left. That's going to be over the head of Vanderhoff. Eckerly's going to be sent home. Here comes the relay from Radit. Not in time. Double by Hyveri. Eckerly shows off the wheels from first. And Eagan puts up their second run here in the top of the sixth.
And the Hastings fans are almost in disbelief.
Three hits in a row for Eagan as we watch this replay. Carl, walk us through it.
Yeah, he just smashes this one back to the back wall and just unable to be handled by Vanderhoff. The Hastings fans, they saw that comeback in the last inning, and now it's almost been immediately put to bed. The lead is back to 2 for Eagan.
So we're going to see a pinch runner, which is going to be number 7, Jackson Dwyer. So Jackson Dwyer now is officially in the game, meaning that he can't be a courtesy runner anymore. And Coach Butler is going to use one of his 2 timeouts here to talk things over with the senior right fielder, Matt Cunningham. So Dwyer previously has been the courtesy runner for Lunenburg. Now late game, they want to put the speed at second, right? That's kind of the play. More than likely, Hyveri will re-enter back in to play first. But what this will mean is that once this inning's over, Dwyer will be done for the game, essentially. So they'll have other guys that they'll have to use for either pinch runners or courtesy runners. So the senior will be the right fielder. It's going to be Matt Cunningham, as I mentioned. Cunningham, 3 doubles on the season, 9 of 11 on stolen bases. Dwyer, though, is the speedster, 9 of 10 on stolen bases. And he scored 8 runs coming into today, scored a run already today as well. So I don't know if they'll be as crazy, Carl, to try to swipe third here, but with 1 out, they're obviously hoping that a base hit, they can obviously send Dwyer from second.
Yeah, Teglin's got a great arm, so hopefully he'd be able to make that off. But if you're Eagan now with only 1 out, you have to imagine that you're going to play pretty conservatively to make sure you don't have any wasted outs.
Correct. Hendrickson's pitch outside to Cunningham.
Hendrickson has great face paint job on.
There you go. As you mentioned, set to go to your future alma mater, St. Thomas, where you're at currently. We'll say hi to all of Carl's friends listening in the dorms, or actually not the dorms anymore, but maybe at home.
Yeah, and
critiquing you right now, probably, Carl.
Yeah, and Hendrickson slid off the mound after that last pitch.
As we can see, we got Lundstrom playing in just in case there's a push bunt. Now he's backing off in the dirt, or excuse me, off the grass. 2-0 count to Cunningham. Fastball outside corner in there for strike 2-1. Eagan 3 hits in a row. Took the lead with Lunenburg's home run that caught the top of the fence. Followed up by a hit by Eckerly, and then the big double by Hyveri scored Eckerly from first to make it now 5-3. Eagan with 6 hits on the day to Hastings 1. Dwyer at second running. Cunningham fouls way that offering now 2-2.
That one's going to hit the left field fence of the ballpark behind us.
Yeah, I think that's, what is that, field? I don't know which one's field 1 or field 2. I assume this is field 1. I feel like all the big games are played on this field. You know, like the championship game would be played on this one as opposed to the other field.
Right.
So 2-2's our count. Hendrickson, senior v. senior matchup. Cunningham at the plate. Dwyer at second. Dwyer taking off. Popped up. Dwyer's got to get back to second. Is it going to stay in? No. Bounces up. Almost gets all the way up to Ashley, the camera lady up there, but she's safe.
What
she's
a great
good.
shot.
She gave a thumbs up.
What a great shot. That's TV magic right there. And the grandstand,
I thought Ashley was going to catch it with one hand and zoom in with the other on the camera.
We get a great thumbs up there from Ashley, but the grandstand is mostly Hastings fans. They haven't had a lot to cheer about for the last few minutes, but that kind of just brought a smile to a lot of their faces.
All right, 2-2 counts. Hendrickson came in of relief of Selesky from short. Radent now at short. Dwyer at second, running for Highbury. Pitch to Cunningham. Fastball outside corner. Strike 3. Paints the corner.
If Eagan was not up by 2, I have a good feeling we would have heard some more comments there.
It's a good pitch. It was a good pitch. It's a good pitch.
You know that
Hendrickson, he's been working the outside corner to Cunningham that whole at bat.
That was a laser.
It's all there. It's all there.
You know, a lot of our guests here, spectators in the front row, are some of our elderly guests, and that crazy foul ball that just came through landed about 2 feet from a couple of them, and I think they all caught their breath a little bit there.
So pinch hitting now will be Aiden Canty, so he's going to hit for Joe Anderson. So we'll see if Anderson re-enters out to left field. Jackson Dwyer is the pinch runner for Highbury at second. 5-3 is our score. Fastball again on the outside corner. So Hendrickson has been trying to set up that outside fastball and is now able to hit that black of the plate. Canty 265 on base, 9 RBIs on the season. I think that puts him tied for 4th on the team. Scored 7 runs as Canty has. Dwyer did try stealing earlier in that bat for Cunningham, another fastball outside corner. And that's exactly what Hendrickson's been trying to set up the last 2 at-bats, is getting comfortable pitching outside.
And it feels like he has now. It feels like he's finally settled in.
Right. Well, and you have to think, too, he didn't get to throw a lot of pitches in between innings, right? He didn't warm up at all. So
right,
he came in from short, and he got like 8 pitches to warm up. Strike 3, 1, 2, 3, strikeout by Hendrickson. But Eagan does attack with 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left on. It's 5-3. We'll be back in 60 seconds for the bottom of the 6th here in this Section 3 Quadruple A game at Alamagnet Park.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right? It's comfortable. So how's civilian life treating you? It's fine. When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because it felt like a failure. And then I realized, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine, but if you're not, it's okay. Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Casey Lux joined by Carl Warner. Once again, want to thank HYAA, which is the Hastings Youth Athletic Association, for helping put this all together here today. We got Hunter in the truck, our director. We got Tim wearing many hats, replay graphics, a little bit of everything. And then the wonderful camera crew today is Ashley behind home plate, and then Ian and Ben down the line. So we love to bring you this, and we're very thankful that we're able to bring all those that are watching at home. And thanks again to Eagan TV as well as Hastings Community Television. So we got the number 2 hitter is going to step in, now pitching Alex Hendrickson. Curveball misses by Andrew Leakus. Came in and did a job, if you want to say so, Carl, that last inning. Couple big outs that he came in for only a 2nd time varsity action this year.
Yeah, now Hendrickson is at the plate only a couple minutes after he struck
Right.
out the side. Or struck out the last couple
Struck out the last 2, correct.
Yes.
Yep. So quickly now 2-0. Fastball misses low. Eagan, I'm sure, has some action in the bullpen. They had been getting Jackson, the junior, Jackson Tassalis, loosened up and ready to go. So more than likely he's going to be the next man up for the Wildcats. Fastball, get me over pitch in there for strike on 3-0. So 3-1. It's going to go 2-3-4 here. Hendrickson, Nelson, and then we'll see if they keep Selesky in there, which he was the pitcher DH. Ripped on to right by Hendrickson. And this one makes it over the wall. Hendrickson missed the home run in the bottom of the first by about 2 feet. This time he takes a 3-1 offering out of the park to make it a 5-4 game. And Hendrickson has the only 2 hits of the day for Hastings.
And every yellow jersey meets him at home plate. He has cut the lead in half. That Tommy bat has shown up for the Raiders today.
So Likas gives up the home run as we take a nice replay.
Boom.
I think he knew that one was out way more than he thought. I think he thought the first one in the first inning was out. That one was a no-doubter to him, as that one probably carried about 340 down the right field line.
That's got to be such a great confidence booster for him, especially if he's going back out on the mound.
Third baseman steps in. It's Evan Nelson. Nobody out here. 5-4 game. Fastball on the outside corner.
Now, if you're
in there for a strike.
If you're like it, Nelson is coming up right after Hendrickson. That's not exactly an upgrade of people to face.
He's got to face the meat of the lineup. Gets a pop-up. More than likely he's going to be called off and called on by Eckerly for the first out of the inning. As we mentioned, Jackson Tasalis getting loose in the pen, the junior. Yep, Coach Butler reminding everybody with the sky right now that you got to help your teammate out and point it out, especially to the outfield. As you saw before, we did see Aiden Canty hit for Joe Anderson, but Joe Anderson is back in left field. And Jackson Dwyer pinch ran for Tony Iveri after his RBI double, and Iveri re-entered into first base.
You know, if you're Hastings right now, you got to look at that scoreboard, and you can't help but think about 2022, where we were 2 years ago when the Raiders lost 4-5 in the quarterfinals.
Fastball misses out. 2-0 quickly to the senior, Jack Selesky, the designated hitter, but also started the game on the mound.
Hastings
pitched into the 6th inning.
The Raider dugout is fired up. They're trying to avoid this deja vu.
2-0 count, 1 down. 5-4 is our score. The number 5 seed, Eagan, leading. Popped up to King. Does King see it? And he does. Catches it in foul territory. So Likas gets 2 pop-ups. 1 to Eckerly and 1 to King.
Yeah, 2 pop-ups, but 1 no-doubt home run.
Yeah.
So giving up a lot of contact.
Yeah, but I think Eagan would take it after Kemp struggled to throw strikes.
Yeah.
I mean, he got him out of that jam. There was bases loaded last inning.
I guess that's the game you play when you throw contact. It's like a Miguel Sano situation.
Right. Catcher Taglin comes up, first pitch swinging, ground ball to Tome. Tome to Iveri for the 3rd out. Eagan survives after that solo blast by Hendrickson. Hastings gets 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on. 5-4 is our score. Back in 60 seconds for more here at Alamagna Park.
Buckle up, folks.
Do you want to go grab some frozen yogurt tonight?
Maybe another time. Thanks, though.
Hey, Charles, how do you like your burger?
Ooh, well done, I hope. I love this tree. Hey, honey. When you thought we'd try something new?
Family art hour.
Come on, sit down.
Okay, guys, what do you think? That is you.
Oh, you got jokes. You're funny.
That is you, and that is your son, and your other son. Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
Back here at Alameda Park, Casey Lux joined by Carl Warner. 5-4 is our score at the top of the 7th. Hendrickson came in relief last inning of the starter, the senior, Jack Selesky. One thing we talked about earlier, Carl, and I just kind of did the tally, and this kind of tells you the story. Even though Hastings only has 2 hits, right, and they've scored 4 runs on those 2 hits, 10 men left on base, whereas Egan's only left 3 runners on base throughout the first 6 innings.
Yeah, if you look at Hendrickson, his last 10 minutes, he has thrown a strikeout.
2 strikeouts in a row.
2 strikeouts in a row, and hit a home run.
Right.
Of course, Hastings unable to do anything else in the bottom of the 6 other than that.
Right.
And after this pitch here.
Fastball outside corner, which he's been painting here very often as he started last inning. This is Alex Tomei, the second baseman.
Take a quick moment to clarify for the YouTube comments. This is a joint production between Eagan TV and Hastings Community TV.
Fastball misses low.
I myself am a Hastings graduate, and our friend Casey here is a representative of Eagan TV.
You could say that. I mean,
so if you...
I'm a New Ulm Cathedral graduate, but I happen to play college baseball with the head coach from Eagan.
Just to clarify for folks, especially as we reach the last stretch here of the game, if it comes
I called straight down the middle, Carl.
If it, when it comes to tone of voice, that's why.
I call it pretty much down the middle. Ground ball to Raiden. Raiden can throw across the diamond to Lundstrom. Whoa!
Oh, that was really close. That was
play.
Really close.
Close play, but I think he just gets him
Man,
on Raiden's relay to Lundstrom.
If we're going to have instant replay here, but the umpires will not. So, I mean, how often can you say that in today's age?
Can't.
But
probably not too many years away from it.
Here we go. Watch as the throw comes in here. I'm not completely convinced that he didn't make it.
Oh, I think he got the lunge in at the end, and I think it just caught the glove.
Oh, man. Yeah. That was a great call. Yeah.
It's the right call.
We had some folks behind us here come up to the monitor and
take a look.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring up the leadoff hitter, center fielder, which is Tate Gage, the junior. 348 on base, 4 doubles, 12 RBIs, leads the team 15 runs, and if he gets on base, he's 14 of 15.
Did he bite?
Unable to hold, but he is.
Oh, he did. He didn't.
I was almost ready to say that was strike 2. So quickly 1-1 now. Top of the lineup now for Eagan with Theo King, the junior third baseman, on deck. 5-4 is our score. Eagan out hitting Hastings 6-2 on the scoreboard. Hastings 2 errors to Egan's 1. And he made the right call. Our base ump did. It was a nanosecond, but it was the right call. Just got into the webbing of Lundstrom before Tomei's foot hit the base. Hot shot to third, scooped up by Nelson across the diamond to Lundstrom in time to get the speedy Gage. 2 ground balls quickly by Hendrickson here in the top of the 7th, bringing up the junior third baseman, Theo King.
Some great speed showed off there by Gage.
Theo King, 342 on base, 10 runs, and also 10 for 11 on stolen bases. Eagan hasn't even had a stolen base yet today, even though they're 85% on the season on swiping bags. 2 down. Hendrickson's fastball goes to the inside corner this time instead of the outside where he's been living most of his outing tonight. You can tell his arm's getting stronger here, right? He had some more zip on that last fastball.
You know, we mentioned all that time that Hendrickson was just chilling at shortstop, and then he got a couple of warm-up pitches, but he didn't get a full bullpen.
Correct.
Like some of the Eagan relievers have.
Yeah. 1-1 pitch, curveball. And actually Hendrickson hasn't thrown too many off-speed. It's been pretty much fastballs, and he's been pretty much painting that outside corner for most of his outing in relief of Selesky.
It really is interesting in high school baseball as these kids do a lot more.
Ripped on by King. Vanderhoff's got a beat on it, makes an out for the 3rd out of the inning. So Hendrickson does his job, retires Eagan 1-2-3. Eagan no runs on no hits, no errors, nobody left on. It's a 5-4 game, folks. We'll be back in 60 seconds for the bottom of the 7th as Hastings comes to the plate here at Alameda Park.
You know, how you feel on the inside is just as important to me as how you feel on the outside.
Oh, Daddy.
I'm grown up in every way, care and take care of you. You're my grown up and I know you're there.
I'm your grown up and you know I care.
'Cause it's you and me and me and you.
So when you are okay,
or not okay, I'll take care of you.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut, the one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Back here, Casey Lux, joined by Carl Warner. Take a little look at our new pitcher here for Eagan. It's going to be the junior Jackson Salas. On the season, Jackson's has 11 games pitched, 18 and a third innings, only 3 earned runs, 17-4 strikeout to walk ratio for a very slim fast-like 1.145 ERA and a team best 9.27 whip.
And sitting in that lawn chair right there in the red shirt is our Hastings radio announcer, Nick Tuckner.
Okay.
Laptop, scoreboard, he's got it rolling.
As I mentioned before, Salas is 1 for 1 on the season with saves, and that came against Eagan, or Eastview, excuse me, and that was the first game of playoffs. He went 1 2/3 with a hit and a K.
If you're joining us late, this is the semifinal of the winner's bracket. Whoever loses this game is not eliminated from their season. They would still have one more loss. The winner of this game will be 1 win away from the state tournament.
Stepping in is center fielder Cade Kimmis. Fastball misses up.
And maybe a reminder for some of our newer fans, only 7 innings scheduled for high school baseball. This is, in theory, the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, Jackson throws a fastball, a slider, and then he changes speeds on his slider. And you're going to see some of those to lefties. He's going to come inside with his slider, so it's going to be up to the lefties to be able to keep that ball in play.
We will have...
What he does so well is that he throws kind of 2 different speeds on his sliders. So one of his sliders almost looks like a changeup because he slows it down so much, but it still has that right to left movement. Fastball at the knees, 1-2 to Kimmis. Vanderhoff on deck, the left fielder. 5-4 is our score here at Alamagna. That's balls in the dirt, 2-2.
Loser plays tomorrow to stay alive. Winner plays Wednesday for a trip to state. We will have Kimez, Vanderhoff, and Denoyer no matter what.
Unless they make any pinch hit changes, right?
Indeed, yes.
Yep. But we will review the bracket once this game is over and update it for all those watching at home. Fastball misses up now, 3-2.
You have to wonder, Kimez is a little bit shorter of a player. Do you reckon his strike zone? Yeah.
Nah, not necessarily. I mean, it's still somewhat letters to knees, right?
Right.
I mean, if he was like 5 foot, I'd say that might matter.
Watch out. Oh, that one is going to hit a vehicle. But very slow speed. No,
looks like
it's
the road
not.
deadened it a little bit. I thought it was going to hit the bus window maybe.
Yeah, the velocity on that guy, I thought for sure that one was going to cause an auto insurance claim, but.
3-2 pitch to Salas, to Kimmis. Up high, leadoff, gets on base for Hastings.
And the Raider fans erupt. They are searching for hope, and it seems like they have it.
Left fielder will step to the plate. Blake Vanderhoff. Interesting scenario here for Hastings. Do you put the bunt down? Do you try to send Kimmis? Do you do a hit and run? What scenario does Coach Stoffel go with?
Salas calls a timeout here, steps off the mound, wants to talk things over with Lunenborg. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is what high school sports are all about. High drama. This is exactly what you want.
Both teams have not stolen a base. They've attempted them, but both times when they've either attempted them, either been a foul ball or a ball put in play. So we haven't seen a stolen base yet today. There's a throw over to Iveri. Kimmis slides back in easily.
Man, he charged up that throw to first.
Middle infield of Eckerly at short and Tomei in double play territory. There's the bunt. It's going to be pushed down the line, but it's going to roll foul.
Wait a minute.
Just caught the edge of the blades of grass.
You know, this grass.
And the spin kicked it foul.
That went up the dirt the whole way, but then as I saw it perfectly with my own eyes here, as it turned to go into the infield, the grass might be a little hot. Yeah, you caught it right there. Yeah. The grass pushed it back foul.
Yeah, he needed about just 6 more inches more on the grass, and it would have stayed right down the line, and he very well could have maybe even had a bunt single
if
there.
This game is at CHS or Target Field, that is probably a bunt signal.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
right?
One of those.
I think you're thinking about the bat signal.
Yes, indeed.
Calling out Batman.
It is dark enough out here where we would see something like that.
0-1 count to Salas. Another bunted tap. This is going to be popped backwards for a foul. Quickly 0-2 to Vanderhoff.
Well, if he bunts again, he better be sure about it.
Right.
As a Raider player, that is Mark DeNoyer, collects the ball.
0-2 count, 5-4 is our score. Kimmis at first reached on a walk to Salas, came in to start the bottom of the 7th. In relief of excellent outing by Likas. Swung on and missed. First out of the inning by Salas. 1 down for Eagan with Kimmis at first.
And if you're Salas, this is the bottom end of the Hastings lineup, and your strikeouts leader is about to come to the plate.
Yep, Mark DeNoyer steps in, the second baseman. On deck is the first baseman, Lundstrom.
We know that anything can happen, obviously, here, but this is a good matchup for Eagan.
1 down, 5-4 score, another throw over. Kimmis gets back in plenty of time.
Salas he seems pretty bent on keeping the runner honest at first.
No. I'm wondering if that might happen though in a few years. That could be something that could change, Carl. That's the one thing that in high school baseball that they can do. They throw over about 5-6 times sometimes.
Right.
First pitch to DeNoyer. Outside corner for a strike by Salas. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Eagan holding on to a 5-4 lead. They scored 2 to break open a 3-3 tie in the top of the 6th. A Lunenborg solo home run and a High-Very RBI double. Fastball low, misses out, 1-1 count.
Under the lights here at Alley Magnet
Hastings
Park.
cut that lead in half, that 2-run lead in half, as Hendrickson deposited one about 340 down the line for a home run for Hastings to make it 5-4 in the bottom of the 6th. 1-1 pitch. Outside corner for a strike. Now 1-2.
You know, earlier during this game, there was a lot of other stuff at this park. There's many fields, people playing catch, people doing other things. Every single eye is on what's happening right now.
Locked in now, right? 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed on the outside corner at the knees. Second strikeout by Salas. 2 down.
We have
Kimmis at first.
We got some Raider fans heading for maybe not the exits, but a easier exit if something dramatic does not happen here.
Gonna get a little. Lunenborg's gonna go out to the mound and just make sure everybody's on the same page, and also just cool down the emotions. Everybody needs to remember that there's still one more out, very important out to get.
We will have the scheduled batter, Carter Lundstrom, in.
Kimmis is still at first, so it'll be interesting to see if they put him in motion at any point here.
Remember what's at stake. The winner here will be only 1 win away from the state tournament.
To Salas, facing the first baseman Lundstrom. Outside corner, misses on a slider. Just misses on the outside corner. Kimmis reached on a walk. 5-4 is our score. Fastball inside, up and misses, so quickly 2-0 to the number 9 hitting Lundstrom. Chumsland on deck, the leadoff hitter, the right fielder. 3 balls in a row by Salas.
Green light here.
Only in video games. Carl, only in video games. 3-0 count. Green light. 5-4 is our score. Kimmis is at first. 3-0 count to the first baseman. Get the over strike is good for 3-1. 2 down, 5-4 is the score. Eagan out hitting Hastings 6-2.
Tense moments here in Burnsville.
And it could be 7-2, but I officially only have 6 hits as he walks Lundstrom for the second walk of the inning by Tesalis. So 2 strikeouts and 2 walks by the junior reliever, bringing up the leadoff hitter,
Sawyer Chumsland.
Yep, Sawyer Chumsland.
This
It's also going to bring out a mound visit by
whether
pitching coach Luke Degermont.
Whether it's Tesalis or Selesky, or excuse me, Chumsland, whether if it's Chumsland or Tesalis or even Hendrickson or Nelson, this is where heroes are made. This is where legends are built in programs. We are 1 out away from this game being over, should the Raiders not tie it here.
Coach Stoffel talking things over with Kimmis as well as Lundstrom, who both reached on a walk.
The Wildcats are 1 out away from the final of the 3 quadruple A tournament.
Coach Luke Degermont in his 2nd season as pitching coach. He played for 4 years at Concordia St. Paul as a left-handed starting pitcher. And just going over everything, not only with his pitcher and catcher to make sure that they have the right pitch sequence set up, but also making sure the infield is all lined up as well. And the Nats have decided to join the party here, Carl.
Luckily they're staying up by those big lights.
I like it.
Not down here by the rest of us.
I like it.
Umpire, home plate will make sure the plate is clean.
So Chumsland, the right fielder, the leadoff hitter. And if you're Hastings, you want to get the hot bat up, and that's Hendrickson, who has a double and a home run here today, and he has both hits for Hastings. Kimmis at second. Lundstrom at first. Fastball. Outside corner for a strike. 2 down. 5-4 lead for Eagan. It was a 3-3 game going into the top of the 6th. Eagan scored 2 in the top. Hendrickson hit a solo bomb in the bottom. Ripped down the line, but foul. Foul by about 4 feet down the line, but a hot shot by Chumsland. Right on that slider, on that inside slide piece.
Raider fans and Wildcat fans collectively just held their breath.
0-2 count, 2 down, 5-4 score here at Alamagna Park. Salas looking in for the sign. Pitch, curveball, strike 3 to Salas. 3 strikeouts in the 7th with 2 walks. As Eagan has to be careful while they're celebrating as they got more baseball to play, but a huge win and an excellent play game by both teams. Both pitchers, Selesky going into the 6th.
And deja vu strikes again for the Raiders. They revisit 2022 2 years later. They lose 4-5. They're not eliminated from the playoffs yet, but their mountain just got a lot taller.
And take a look. Carl's going to walk us through that strike 3.
Yeah, watch Tesalis here. Excellent celebration. Taking care of business, sending the Eagan fans home happy.
And I know we talked about this earlier, and I'm not trying to harp on something, but as we mentioned, only 2 hits by Hastings today, both hits by Hendrickson, a double that almost went out about 2 feet short, and then also a home run. But they left 12 men on base to Eagan's 3.
And
so
here's an updated look at the bracket. Eagan continues their underdog run after defeating Eastview and Two Rivers, and now defeating the number 2 seed Hastings. Eagan will move on to the section championship. Hastings can meet them there, but Hastings will have to win another game in the elimination final tomorrow to earn that chance to play Eagan again on Wednesday.
Yep, and then they would have to beat Eagan twice.
Like you mentioned, Hastings would have to beat Eagan twice to reach state.
Correct. But as I mentioned before, it was 12 men left on base for Hastings. Even though they only had 2 hits, it was all those walks and hit by pitches. They just weren't able to get that key hit when they needed it with runners in scoring position.
Yeah,
Carl.
a lot of ducks left on base for the Raiders, and you got to imagine this is a really disappointing finish to what.
You know what? But this is the beauty of high school sports, Carl, right? These guys are young, a lot of seniors. They just get to try to flush this out tonight, come back and play baseball again tomorrow.
And yeah, they're not done yet, and that's exactly what Coach Stoffel's trying to tell them. This is not the end of anything.
Once again, before we send it out here, we want to give our thank you again to HYAA, which is the Hastings Youth Athletic Association, for helping put this on. Thank you again to Hunter in the truck, as well as Tim in the truck, for doing all the work that they did. And then Ashley, Ian, and Ben for doing an excellent job on the cameras here for us tonight. A thrilling game, a 5-4 win for Eagan here in the Section 3 Quadruple A quarterfinal. And for Carl Warner, I am Casey Lux. Thank you all for listening online. Have a wonderful night, and we'll hopefully see you back here at Al Magnet Park later this week.